Hello AJ, how are you doing, mate?
Franklin, we are back in the studio. It's been 2 weeks.
Feels like a lifetime.
It does actually feel like a lifetime ago since we were back in here.
Yeah, because a lot of things have happened over the last
lot's kicked off.
couple of weeks in terms of league positions, which we'll talk about later.
League positions, invasions. Yeah, that's happened. Yeah, we've had a nice little invasion going on.
Which invasion are we talking about, by the way?
The American invasion of Iran.
Oh, I think that started before the last show.
Well, let's not get bogged down in chronologicals here. There's also been the redefining of masculinity, because the Louis Theroux documentary has come out on Netflix.
Oh, I've seen you mention this on social media.
Yes, I have.
You sort of... I'm not a big fan of him.
What? Why?
Because I can't work him out.
What do you think he's after?
I think sometimes he's a little bit... I remember watching... It's probably because I watched the one where he was interviewing Jimmy Savile, and I've never got quite over that. Do you remember that?
I don't. I've not actually seen that one. The only other one I've seen...
Very, very creepy, and I found him quite creepy in it as well.
I don't think he means to be creepy. I certainly hope not. I mean, a lot of people call him like a Savile assister, somebody who sort of helped Savile get his evil ways or something, along
I think
those
he
lines.
did that. I think, but that time when he was interviewing him, he knew what was going on, didn't he? That's the point in that.
Yeah, but I mean... You could say that for so many people.
Hugh Edwards. I mean, I'm talking about documentaries, and I just watched the
with Martin Clunes.
With Martin Clunes, did a very good job as well.
He's turned the corner, hasn't he? He's Martin Clunes. Like he was the grumpy doctor in Doc Martin for 20 years.
Yeah, but he was the laddish lad in
behaving badly. Yeah,
who'd have thought he'd have gone from that to being a method
actor as Hugh Edwards? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So, what did you think of the Hugh Edwards series then?
I found it a bit creepy in the end, because he actually announced the news that he was a paedophile at the end of it, and I think that's sort of where the documentary lost, the drama lost a bit of its credibility there.
Right.
Yeah, because it made it more about Hugh.
Yeah.
But the amazing thing about these after the event documentaries is that it's like everybody says that they had a feeling about it, Why didn't they do anything about it at the time?
Well, what can you do? What can you investigate? Who can you ask? I think it's a very difficult thing to try and unpick a suspicion that is as deep and is so potentially, groundbreaking.
Yeah, you've got to be careful. You can't. First of all, you can't just assume because you've heard the rumours. You can't.
Exactly.
You can't report on it.
No, you can't. And ironically enough, that was a part and parcel of what the documentary that Louis Theroux had made about the manosphere was, because there was one guy who he interviewed who was a self-labelled predator hunter, or somebody who calls out people who do take part in those kind of behaviours. And it was horrible the way he talked.
So what is it you've actually been watching? I've heard about it, but I've not watched it.
Okay, so it's called Louis Theroux, The Manosphere. Okay, It's a documentary on Netflix, and it kind of delves into the new wave of masculine definition through the eyes of people like Andrew and Tristan Tate. And the one fella on there is called Justin Waller. There's another social media presence on there who goes by the name of HS Tiki Toki. And yes, you have to laugh, don't you?
The world's getting crazy.
Oh, it is, yeah. And these people obviously hold quite large influence in certain demographic circles, and it's particularly young men in their teens to 20s who are influenced by the masculine behaviours that these people portray in how to get women, how to get money, how to live a unbelievably amazing lifestyle.
But in the process becoming very
misogynistic, racist, even some violent in some ways.
What's his name? Andrew Tate.
Yes.
I've listened to him a lot, particularly when Piers Morgan was on mainstream television, and I used to watch him on the Piers Morgan Uncensored. I know he does his own show now on YouTube.
Yeah.
But back in the day when Andrew Tate was coming onto the show, I found a lot of what he said was probably a lot of the things that a lot of people were thinking but couldn't say any longer because of wokeism. I'm not saying everything that he says is right, because it's not, far from it. I think that he's a very, very clever bloke. I think a lot of what he said was relevant, but people weren't talking about it. But the sort of sideshow to that was this huge misogynistic show of masculinity that I didn't like. And I think, I feel as though now that if you want to make a name for yourself, you have to shock more.
Yes.
And I think that I don't think he believes half of what he says.
I certainly wouldn't hope so, but then
But
again,
I don't like, he's not somebody that I would like to have in my company.
No.
Because I couldn't imagine people standing for him for long.
No, I couldn't. He's horrible. He's been done for human trafficking in Romania as well. He's facing charges.
Is it been proved? I don't know.
No, they're still under trial for that. So it is still ongoing.
So I think that's the difficulty with me and sort of him. I think a lot of what he says makes sense, and I feel as though, Piers Morgan is a sort of standard bearer for that as well, saying that, we've gone far too woke. He wrote a book about it, didn't he, Piers Morgan? I started reading it, got fed up after the first chapter.
I'm not surprised.
I've got to be honest, but I think these are blokes that have a valid argument, and it's one that we can sort of respect, but then they go way over the top, and then that's when you start thinking, well, it's not even worth continuing that debate about how far stretched wokeism is now. You can't say anything anymore. You can't tell a joke the way you used to tell a joke 20, 30 years ago. It's not deemed funny. Well, to give you an example of something now, right, I can't name names, but somebody that was putting an advert together to promote something, a business, to get people to come and join and participate in, they were told that they had to be very, very careful talking about medication. Mm-hmm. Now, the medication was, I forget what it was now. You had to take a pill. You had to take some kind of medication which produced 5 different stools.
Okay.
And then it sort of split then over to 5 breakfast bar stools. It was a joke.
Right.
But because you'd used the word medication, it was like, oh, can we do that? Can we say that? Can we take a skit out of medication?
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
I think you can.
But it could have been censored. It's not been. It's a very good advert as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a bit much, that one. But I don't know if that's necessarily the message that the Tates are promoting, to be honest, because they're saying things like you can't cry and you can't express your feelings, you've got to be hyper masculine all the time, and if you respect a woman's wishes, then you're a beta male and stuff like that, all this kind of absolutely awful.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's stretching it too far. I always remember Piers Morgan saying that if you finish second, you shouldn't celebrate coming second. Yeah. Do you remember he used to go on about that on a regular basis?
There was Piers Morgan saying that's a bit of a weird one, to be honest.
But it's this shock culture again, isn't it? It's saying things that are going to draw in viewers or hits, whatever you call it these days. People are looking
it's attention, isn't it?
They're looking for attention, but there is a lot of valid things out there that we want to discuss, but we feel as though we can't anymore. And I just think that's. Oh, all right, somebody's dropped something in the kitchen.
Yikes.
I don't know whether you can hear that on the mic lap.
Probably will. If you've heard the printer, we'll probably hear the crash.
Yeah, you definitely hear the printer. That always. So what have you been doing other than listening to him anyway?
Not an awful lot, to be honest. No, it's.
Does it turn you into a man-hater listening to these people?
No.
You can be a man and start hating your own sex, can't you? Because you think to yourself, I didn't want to sort of go on too far over the likes of the Tates. But
I don't think they are men. I think the only thing that identifies them as men is their gender assignment. And
genitals, yeah.
Exactly. Other than that, they're not what I would class as men, to be honest. You think about kind of the staple of masculinity. I think of people like Steve Irwin, David Attenborough, Brendan Fraser, Keanu, just really like nice guys who are just doing something for the world and for each other. That's what I kind of describe as that.
Do you think there's a growing culture there, though? Now you've mentioned it, obviously in the documentary.
There's been a growing culture for a while.
And it's mainly young, educated blokes that want to get to the top very quickly.
Not necessarily educated. The educated would probably look towards more politicians and people of business and look at those people as kind of pantheons of masculinity. I take
it these wouldn't even... If they had the choice now to change the voting system, they wouldn't have women voting.
I would think that.
Yeah. Sad.
It is. It's sad and it's ludicrous.
They can't actually believe in all claptrap, can they?
They probably can.
But we're educated people. And we're looking at educated people thinking that, and there's no doubt about it, Andrew Tate is an extremely intelligent bloke. There's absolutely no doubt about that whatsoever. He must... there must be a grain of remorse or thinking about what he's saying. He
trafficked women. I don't think so.
We allegedly, because we don't know because it's not been proven.
Fine, allegedly. Yeah, it's what he's under investigation for.
Yeah, and it's not going away from him, this story, is it?
No, it's not. It is kind of what he is associated with right now. But no, I think there is a growing culture. I think it's mainly among young, impressionable men who haven't really had a father figure within their own life and who aren't necessarily...
I was going to say that because now there's a lot of single
parents, single moms.
Single parents. But it's gone the other way now. I mean, you used to often think that it was a woman that would look after the kids once the unit had split up. Now it's
not
very much the other way.
Well, I think it all depends on circumstance, really. But all of the people who we saw...
Well, I look after both my boys.
Of course you do. Yeah, of course. But all of the men who were interviewed on this show were products of single parent households, and they all lived with their mother. Yeah. In fact, one of their mothers appeared on the show, on the documentary, and sort of stood up quite vociferously for her son, who was making horrendously invalid points and ones that were just wrong.
But why help that? I mean, surely from a female perspective, she would be trying to bring her son back down to earth again.
You'd like to think so, wouldn't you? And she says she doesn't agree with a lot of the stuff that he says about women, but he has an opinion. That was her standpoint.
But we know now that opinion is very much sort of overtaken fact now. A lot of people think that their opinions are fact, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether it can be proven otherwise. They still stick to their silly, immature narratives. And I'm talking about I just read something earlier on about a young lad that had murdered his mother.
Yeah, I heard about that.
He's got 22 years in prison, which doesn't seem to be long enough. Apparently, he was abusing her before he actually led her to the, I think, into the woods and hammered her to death.
Jesus.
He had this big fixation with serial killers.
Oof.
It's really a warped society.
It's a bit of a warped society if he's doing that. My God. Yeah. This has taken a bit of a miserable turn, hasn't it?
Yeah. Listen,
jeez.
But listen, go on. You make us smile again. Go and tell us about something that has really lit up your week.
Okay. So it's lit up our week. Okay. So here we go. Brody, my dog, my pet, who is of the canine origins.
Rather partial to a pork pie.
Also partial to a carrot now, apparently.
A carrot, yeah.
Absolutely. No idea that this was a thing at all. Yeah. But evidently he loves carrots. We sort of had a bag of carrots on the kitchen side. We were chopping one up. A little dice of it just flies off onto the kitchen floor. Before we even know where it's gone, he's there just chewing the remainders of it and licking his lips. And we thought, all right. So he likes carrot. So then we started giving him more and more. And then we gave him an entire carrot and he legged it upstairs with it. Yeah. And then we just heard this crunching from the ground floor. Like, as long as he's not doing that on the bed, fine. We'll allow it. So yeah,
I was going to say, what's up, doc, or what's up, vet?
Nice.
Listen, it'd certainly be advisable from a vet for dogs to chew on.
It is. Carrots. I think it's really helping him. Yeah, I think it's really helping him with his teeth. I mean, he's 18 months, so by all accounts, he's sort of out of that puppyhood era and he's into being a teenager. But he's still sort of growing and developing. And if his teeth are sort of focusing on carrots rather than on our furniture, then I'm more than happy to engage in that one, because he chewed up a wooden photo album the other week.
Oh, right.
A photo frame.
Yeah,
so that got chewed to bits. By him, so we thought, right, we're going to have to keep a bit more of an eye on him and give him more carrots.
So it's
giving him more carrots.
It's going to cost you a fortune in carrots.
It is going to. Well, luckily,
mind you back onto a farm, don't you? I think
we don't necessarily back onto a farm. We do back onto an Aldi though, so it's not too bad.
I thought you were backing onto the farm.
No. And then obviously my mum and dad were here in the middle of the week as well.
Managed to meet them on
Saturday.
Very nice people.
They came over to watch Scam, and they had a bit of a tour of Standish and what have you. Went out for a lovely meal at the Owls, which is an amazing little restaurant if you've never been there before.
Yeah, been there before.
It's fantastic.
I prefer it to the other place on the other side.
Albert's,
yeah. I can't remember what it was called before then, but
I want to say Beach Manor, but I don't think that was what it was.
It's something beach.
Yeah, there you go. So yeah, they came over.
The beaches.
There we go. That's easy enough. Yeah, so they came over and they had a really nice time. Thoroughly enjoyed sort of being around the club and everything that's kind of my local haunts, and had a fabulous time. So
in terms of you said a tour of Standish. Come on, sort of elaborate a little bit.
I know, it's a bit strange, wasn't it, really? So we went for a walk around kind of the local fielded area where I take Brody for a walk, and we went past all the fields, the farms, the tractors, everything like that. We then went down there's an old coal railway line, which has now become a public footpath. So we walked the full length of that, and obviously that walked past.
I haven't been on that one yet. Where does that start and where does it finish? So
it starts at at the top of School Lane, so where the traffic lights are at the centre of Standish. There's a Persian restaurant on the right hand side, and directly opposite that, down the side of a load of terraced houses, is the start of the line. That's what it's called, and it runs all the way down
to the old golf course.
Through
where the housing estate is.
Yeah, and then it runs right to the end, which is where the hotel is. I've forgotten what it's called, but it's the big hotel just as you come into Standish. So it runs there. So it's about I don't know, 3/4 of maybe a mile, 3/4 of a mile, something like that. Yeah. So we walked all the way through there. I sort of drove them through the streets and kind of told them the local haunts, if you like. Not that there's an awful lot in Standish beyond eateries and
But
shops.
I think, listen, the way you've explained it there, I think tourism for Standish now, you've sold it.
I've put it on the map, haven't I?
You've definitely put Standish on the map. Listen, before we finish the sort of intro, the pre-show show, I'd just like to mention Richie Wade. Went to his funeral today, which was Thursday as we record.
Sure.
A legend of Skelmersdale United Football Club, played in the 1967 Amateur Cup final at Wembley, and played in the replay at Main Road. Really sad, poignant, and yet a quite fascinating story of a gentleman that not only played for Skelmersdale United Football Club, but he was an extraordinary bloke. Painter and decorator by trade. Spent most of his years running a business. Also coached for Everton A and B teams back in the day when they had A and B teams. So in very esteemed company today. Joe Royal was there, as was Colin Harvey as well. Great friends of Richie. And just another reminder of how important it is to continue protecting the legacy of a football club that's meant so much to so many people. I'd just like to say show great respect to their family as well. Calvin Wade did the eulogy, explained a lot more about Richie. Richie was a true gentleman, so he'd be remembered as well as his football prowess at Skelmersdale United Football Club, remembered by a lot of people, and an absolutely packed house at St Michael's in Orton today. So God bless him. What a true gent.
Yeah.
So like I say, we take an awful lot for granted until they pass away.
Yeah.
And we remember how important they are in the history of Skem.
Yeah.
So listen, with no further ado, I think we should get on with the real show.
We should. Jump in.
Hello and welcome to the Speaking Frankly Football Show. I'm Frank Hughes, the chairman of Skelmersdale United Football Club, and alongside me is my co-host and passionate press officer, AJ the Jet. Not that being involved with the football club is a prerequisite for hosting a football podcast, but it certainly helps. We are ready to dive headfirst into the vibrant world of non-league football in the Northwest, and we might even take a moment to discuss some of the bigger headlines in the sport. We'll explore life in the Northwest counties, bring you interviews with well-known faces in the league, and analyse how local teams are performing while making bold predictions for their upcoming matches. Nothing is off the limits here. We'll be diving into all kinds of topics, including complicated refereeing decisions and regulations that often leave fans perplexed. We want to hear from you too. This is your show, so don't hesitate to reach out with topics you want us to tackle. Let's get this conversation started and enjoy every single moment. We are speaking frankly. Hello and welcome to the Speaking Frankly Football Show. This is episode 35 in season 2, and a very warm welcome to my co-host AJ.
Hello Frank, hello everyone. Thank you very much for tuning in to the Speaking Frankly Football Show from wherever you are. We've had a nice long break away from the microphone, but we are back, fresh as a daisy, and ready to pile in and stick our noses in all the business of non-league football, whether we're wanted or not. So we'll do our Northwest Counties roundup. We're looking at Wythenshawe, Burscough, Atherton, Allar, the bottom of the table, where Litherland and Remick are absolutely flying. There's changes of the guard at Pilks. We'll look at Division 1 North as well, and that battle for the title goes on between Nelson and Droylsden. We'll look at Division 1 South, where the battle for the title has long since been over. We'll look at the Macron Cup, the Cheshire Cup quarter-finals, the FA Trophy. We'll stretch a bit further afield, looking at Prescott Cables, Lower Brett, Clitheroe, all the usual Northern Premier League favourites. We're going to visit Controversial Corner as well. Rushden and Diamonds and Hashtag United are in the mix as well there. Part 2 of the show, we're going to interview Ryan Donnellan, who is the Charnock Richard manager, and then in part 3 we'll do all our usual expert analysis and predictions for the forthcoming counties games before we round it off with some talk about Skelmersdale United. So Frank, what's coming up first?
Northwest Counties Roundup, as we normally start, the Premier Division. Wythenshawe had made things difficult for themselves in recent weeks. And then an electrical issue on Tuesday night didn't help them either. So they were leading 2-0 against Earlham. So the game was naturally abandoned in the 73rd minute due to the floodlight failure. There's still a point ahead of Ramsbottom and still top of the league, but it's definitely squeaky bum time.
I think it is a bit of squeaky bum time, yeah. I think it was 3-0 at the time, pardon me very much, Frank. I think it was 3.
Oh, it says 2-0 on the site. Sorry, but it might have been 2-0 at half-time, was it?
No, the score was 3-0.
Oh, okay then.
Yeah, it was either 2-0 or it was 3-0.
You picking on me again?
No, not at all. I'm just being pernickety. But yeah, Wythenshawe were winning against Earlham. A game that, I think they kind of had to win, really, not least because Earlham can be inherently dangerous as a team. So those 3 points would have done them an awful lot of good, and I think to have that game abandoned when it was 3/4 of the way through is really demoralising. So they've got to go through that one again. Ramsbottom still breathing down their necks. They didn't play in the middle of the week. Their game yesterday at West Didsbury in Chorlton was postponed due to a waterlogged pitch, because once again the weather didn't seem to make up its mind whatsoever. Chatterton aren't out of the mix either. They're still absolutely flying.
Well, I was going to say to you there, are they out of the mix? We're looking at the top two there and thinking it's one out of the top two. I don't know whether the third place, 5 points behind Wythenshawe.
Yeah, I mean,
they've got 4 games left. Yeah, mathematically it could happen.
6 games.
No, Chatterton have got 6. Sorry, yeah, they've got 6 games.
Yeah, Chatterton have got 6 games. It only takes 2 of them. Two games either way, yeah, and they're probably right back in the mix as well. You wouldn't count on it, not necessarily because of how consistently Chatterton are playing, but how Wythenshawe and Ramsbottom are both capable of little slips here and there. So I fully believe it will go down to the wire, maybe the last 2 or 3 games of the season. I know it went right to the wire last season, but I think this could be equally as exciting. Even if it's finished a couple of weeks before the end of the season, there's still 3 teams there that I genuinely believe could win it.
Yeah, well, listen, it's exciting. We said that from the very beginning, but we never had a Wythenshawe in the top 5, did we?
I don't think we did, and I think that's largely because when we made our predictions, we were 3 games into the season, and Wythenshawe were bottom. They had a horrendous start to the season, but they've more than turned it around now, and they are the pace setters at the minute, and still with a game in hand on Rammy and Chatterton. So it's all still within their hands. They've just got to, keep their head screwed on. But anything can happen in this league.
Listen, we always keep our eye on Bearscough, and of course we will be returning.
Hey neighbours!
Next season, so they are once again our neighbours. So we're moving back to Bearscough. We'll talk about that in the final part of the show. So 1 win in the last 8 games for Bearscough. Seen their season tail off a little bit, so it was rather disappointing for them. But overall, I think it's been a good season. They can register a few more points before the season ends. But we're actually into the last fortnight of the league, aren't we? So
we are into the last. I think we're probably into the last 3 weeks. I think of the season, I think it's going to have to be extended. All of these teams here still have anywhere between 8 and about 6 and 8 games left to go in their season, so I think we're probably going to expand that into 3 weeks. But yeah, Bearscough, it was really, really good going for Bearscough up until about 2 months ago, and then unfortunately they were
playing a lot of the top teams, weren't they?
They were playing.
Whether that psychologically had an impact on them,
I think it may very well have done. Yeah,
because they're not a bad outfit.
They're really not. They've got some tremendous players in that team who we know. If they don't stick around at Bearscough and help them up, they will go on to bigger and brighter things there. But I think you have to wonder now whether this group of players has gone as far as it can go, and maybe a major change in personnel is needed.
Well, I think maybe a mini sort of rebuild at the end of the season. I don't think you need to do a great deal with that.
All right, no, fair enough.
But who knows? I mean, listen, they're in the 10th position at the moment. If they can pick up a few more points, I think they'll consolidate. There's no reasons why they shouldn't stay in that top 10. If they do, I think it's a good finish for them. Probably not what they wanted. No. But then they've still got the semi-final of the Macron Cup to come.
Yes, they do.
I don't know when that is.
I
looked up the fixtures.
It's about 6 days from now, something like that. I don't think it's this weekend. I think it might be next. Either which way or it's a major opportunity for Bearscough to win a trophy, something that they've not done that in about 20 odd years or so. It's been a while since they've had a bit of silverware, so if they can consolidate top 10 and win a trophy, I think most at Bearscough will say, we've had a good season. There's room for improvement, but we will happily take a top 10 finish and a trophy. You also consider as well that at this point last season, they were probably about 3 or 4 places below. They were on an amazing run.
Yeah, at the end of the season, they've just not been able to maintain that at the end of this season.
No, they haven't. Unfortunately, things trail off. Unfortunately, but nonetheless, they've made a decent account for themselves. So the best that they can get out of these last games is 15 points. That'll bring them to 80. If they can get anywhere in the 70s, if they win sort of 3 out of those last 5 games, then they can say that that's a decent season done.
Yeah. So listen, moving on to Atherton LR.
Yeah.
Davy Jones has just committed for another season until 2027.
Yeah.
At Atherton LR, and listen, what form they've been in lately. They've
spent half the season unbeaten.
Yeah, 19 games undefeated, 16 wins and 3 draws. Yeah. Apart from that mini blip, which was around about September, October, which was quite inexplicable at the time. I couldn't understand how it had gone pear-shaped a little bit for them.
Well, I think
it'd be interesting to know from Davy Jones's perspective whether there was injuries or changes in personnel, whether he tinkered around a little bit more.
Well, again, we talked about the retention of the spine of that squad, and I think there's about 5 or 6 players what came in who from the Northwest Counties Division 1 who have actually stayed there and been able to adapt to Premier Division football, but they've still had to make changes, and they've still had to bring in players who can, account for quality across all areas of the pitch in the Premier Division. And I wonder whether they struggled to do that in the earlier part of the season when they were still sort of finding their feet. Davey wanting to give his entire squad a chance to see how they could adapt, and then knew that he had to make changes.
I think there's very few natural clubs, and when I say natural clubs, natural, honest, hard-working football clubs like Atherton LR that can actually go in, a promotional season into the next league and then, make a charge for the playoffs again. It's very difficult. I think there's a certain sense of a rebuild, albeit mini rebuilds, adding quality to the side that will take them to the higher echelon. So they've overachieved in many ways.
Oh God, yeah, they've overachieved. I wasn't expecting this.
No.
I mean, for a team to have done this in their first season in the Northwest Counties Premier, you had to have assumed that in their Division 1 North day they cantered to the league, and that wasn't the case at all. I mean, they took a stronghold on the division last season in about February time, but the teams around them weren't ruled out of it either. Nelson, Drorsden, Holker Old Boys were in there as well. All of those teams were still in with a scrapping chance until about this time last season, and then it became a little bit more clearer that Atherton LR's just consistency was gonna pull them away. But this, I didn't see this coming. I didn't even see anything close to this. I thought if they get top half, that will be a great achievement for them. They're 4th.
Yeah,
they're bleeding 4th.
I did have a feeling that they'd do reasonably well. You just do with the. You can sense the kind of manager, his calibre, and you just get that feeling that he's destined for some kind of success. And I keep saying talked about his stock value throughout the season, and I think when we last spoke to him on the show, that keeps going up. The fact that he's extended his contract now, I think if he gets into the Northern Premier League West next season, albeit it looks as though it's certainly going to be through the playoffs. You can't see them winning the league. Not that it's totally out of reach, but it's going to be in the playoffs. Yeah. They've hit that form at the right time. But the problem with a long run of undefeated run like they've got of 19 games now is that you're always conscious of the time will come when it stops, when that run ends. And I'm just hoping they didn't peak too soon going into the playoff positions. I'm sure they haven't.
No, I wouldn't have thought so. And the other thing as well is that they've been quite fortunate with injuries and sort of personnel and what have you. Unfortunately, I think it's George Chadwick, their right back. He's out for the rest of the season, but they have brought in a new signing from Wythenshawe to kind of cover that area. So he's seen the need to make changes, but again, we've talked about like a small squad full of unity, but you lose 2 or 3 of those players, how much of that unity and strength is actually still gonna be there. But they haven't had that. All of their players are fit and injury free relatively. But I've seen what he's done is that he rotates his squad. He doesn't play the same 11 every week.
He's defensively good, isn't he?
I told you
he's
this
set
from
up
the
as
start.
Defensively,
Yeah.
but then he was a goalkeeper, wasn't he?
He was a goalkeeper
back in his day.
Yeah.
But the only issue I see there being a problem for them going into a playoff position is the likes of Chadderton and Ramsbottom have scored.
And Padiham, they've all scored more.
Yeah, they've
than
all
LR.
scored more goals. Even Earlham have, for that matter.
Yeah.
So that would be their only stumbling block. But like you say, they've got one of the second best, is it? Third best defence.
Yeah, so Rami and Prestwich Hayes have got the best defensive record in the division.
Yeah, there you go. So 42 goals conceded.
Yeah, exactly. So it's an amazing stock, and the numbers are incredible. But and they won 5-0 against Exton Villa in the middle of the week, so they are not without goals.
They don't look to be suffering from pressure, do they, at the moment?
No, and I think Davey will have that. He's just saying to me,
calm,
it's just one game at a time. And they've had this last season. All of this squad know how to deal with the pressure of expectation because they had it 12 months ago in Division 1 North. And I think, again, that just makes them so impervious to that kind of psychological pressure.
He doesn't come across as a man that's under pressure at all, does he?
No.
He's very, very relaxed. I'm sure there's periods of time where he loses his rag.
I mean, Davy Jones will say himself, if you look at his hairline, that's the identikit of his pressure getting to him, is his hairline. Yeah. He's had that before, yeah.
Listen, we're going to be talking to Ryan Donnellan in the second part of the show, and we talk about stock value with Davy Jones. There's another manager that's he's got a bit of, he's added silverware to his CV. He has relatively young.
Yeah.
You wonder at what point these blokes have got to make that step up. If they're ambitious enough, when they're going to make the step up. I think for Davey now, he gets into the Northern Premier League West next season. Listen, I'm not trying to sell him. Sean Lynch would probably kill me if he see me now. But
I don't think Davey will want to go anywhere while he still believes he can take Atherton further. But
this is what I'm saying about natural levels again, though, isn't it?
Yeah, but I honestly believe
Atherton Collieries are struggling in the Northern Premier League West. They were getting better gates than. I mean, they were the second best team in Atherton. We're the second best team.
Yeah.
Next season it'll be a totally different kettle of fish.
But if you think about Collieries as well, they've had a season that's kind of been quite inconsistent, and it all started with that defeat to LR in the FA Cup derby.
Yeah.
They lost 5-2 at Crilly Park, and since then Michael Clegg has gone. He's gone to Hyde now. He took a break from the game, but LR, everything is consistent for them there, and they're only getting bigger and better. They've added the paddle courts onto the ground now, so
extra
revenue. Absolutely. I think it'll only be the changing rooms are getting completely revamped as well. So they're more than happy to invest.
On the clubhouse.
They've done work on the clubhouse as well. We saw that last season. I think it'll be only a matter of time before they get the pitch renovated into a plastic one. I think that's going to be the next step.
Yeah, well, you'd like to think so, because right now it's got a bit of a.
It's a grass slope, isn't it? It's a little grass slope,
isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. You put a spirit level on that thing, there's no way it comes out.
Even the greatest groundsman in the world,
which Davy Jones is.
Yeah.
Davy Jones
is a groundsman. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Anyway, listen.
At the bottom of the table.
Yeah, listen. Best of luck to Davy
and Agar.
And we move on to the bottom of the table. So rumour is absolutely rife at the moment that the Isle of Man will be dropping out of the Northwest Counties at the end of the season. I've got no facts to back that up at all. It's just the conversation just comes through thick and fast.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if that's the case, because we're looking at the two teams at the bottom. Obviously, City and Liverpool now. It doesn't look as though they're going anywhere. They're plumb bottom. Litherland still technically could get out of that.
Technically,
could get out.
They're getting out.
Well,
I'm backing this escape horse all the way. Steve Scott is on there. Give him that contract.
We're assuming Pilks won't. And we'll talk about Pilks in a minute because they've got a new manager. But we're assuming that Pilks won't pick up any more points. But yeah, feasibly there with 6 games to go, they could. They could get above Pilks.
They need 4 wins. 4 wins out of their last 6. That's 4 cup finals, and it starts at Abbey Hay this Saturday.
Which is not going to be easy because Abbey Hay are going through a bit of a renaissance as well.
They are going through a bit of a renaissance as well, but I think Remy are the team to beat at this point. Remy took points off Ramy last month. They took points off West Didsbury and Chorlton as well, so they proved they can battle it against the big boys. But they also polished off City, Liverpool and Pilks in the last couple of weeks.
And their
with
first
a clean
back-to-back
sheet.
win.
Yeah, and with clean sheets as well.
Which is really important.
That's absolutely amazing. So they are 10 points behind Pilks with a game in hand on Pilks as well.
So, but let's look at the scenario though, because let's go back to the rumour about the Isle of Man. If the Isle of Man do drop out of the league, what we do know is that Widnes didn't take up their allocation in the Northern Premier League West.
No, they didn't.
So they dropped out of the league. That means that technically you would assume that there's only one relegation spot.
Yeah.
If there's one relegation spot, then there's a reprieve for both teams at the bottom if the Isle of Man drop out. I don't know whether it works that way. I don't know whether there's an FA ruling saying that. I think it's changed because it became a points per game ratio.
Which neither of those teams are anywhere.
Yeah,
they're not anywhere near either of them.
I'm just wondering whether there's if somebody could answer the question. I think we asked the question to Martin Fallon the other week, didn't we? I don't think he was sure of what the answer would be to that.
So anyway, I think the idea is if FC Isle of Man withdraw from the league, it means there's one relegation from Northwest Counties Prem. Now, right now, statistically, that's City of Liverpool. So it means that Litherland are kind of out of that relegation scrap anyway. But even if they're not, even if by some logistics the league say no, there's still 2 teams that need to be relegated, at least for now, I think that's the scenario that Steve Scott is telling his players to focus on. I doubt very much that any of them are aware that Isle of Man are considering dropping out of it. They're just focusing on Lytham and Remica at this time. And why wouldn't you? When he took over, there were 1 win and 2 draws. That's all they'd taken under Jamie Rainford. But now, since he's come into play, 4 wins and 3 draws from their games. The latest of which was at Jack Edwards' Cheadle Town on Tuesday night. They won by 3-0. 2 of his signings contributing towards that. So Mark Madden opening the goal scoring in the 7th minute, and then Dylan O'Callaghan scored his 6th and 7th goals of the season in the second half of that game to give him a 3-0 win at Cheadle. That closes the gap on Pilks to 10 points now, and they've got Abbey Hay to play on Saturday, and I know what he'll be saying is that every single game is massive, every game is a cup final, and it absolutely is. But I believe so much, I think it's probably heart more than head that says Little and Remica get out of the bottom 2.
Yeah, listen, I wouldn't put it past them because, like you said, the form table doesn't lie. I mean, let's look at the form table, which is on the back.
They're 9th. 2 wins, 2 draws, 2 losses, and they won their last 2 games.
They're conceding less and they're scoring more goals.
They're conceding less and they are scoring
is always
more.
A good recipe for success.
Exactly. The only difficulty that they might have, and they may only look at numbers to a certain degree, but Abbey Hay are bettering their recent form at the minute. So they've had 3 wins and 2 draws in their last 6 games. So as you say, Abbey Hay are experiencing a little bit of a renaissance. But if Remy win that one, that is enormous. That puts the pressure right back on Pilks for the remainder of the season.
Pilks are bottom of the form table anyway.
Pilks are absolutely bottom of the form table at the minute. But more to the point, all the momentum then is with Remy, because it's now a 7-point gap. That's a 3-game swing, whatever way you look at it. So looking at looking at Remy's fixtures, they're not easy by any stretch of the imagination. So they've got Abbey Hay at home on Saturday. Tuesday night they travel to Wythenshawe.
Yeah.
On Saturday the 4th of April they host Ramy.
Crikey.
Then our Monday night trip to AFC Liverpool before back-to-back home games against Atherton LR and Burscough.
Yeah.
So you look at those final 6 games, you think that they could take points
I think you've been romanticising a little bit. I don't think they can accrue enough points there to overhaul Pilks.
I think they can take points from 4 of these games. I'm not going to individualise the teams because that wouldn't be fair, but I think they can take points from 4 of those games.
But you'd be anticipating that Pilks are going to lose all their games, which you don't think they will.
At the minute, I can't see where they're going to get anything else from.
Well, we'll talk about Pilks in a minute, but listen, let's just round off that one. I think when we were in the Premier Division, we got relegated. There was a reprieve because of a similar set of circumstances where a team had dropped out in the division above. I might be wrong,
right?
But I can't remember now. So there is a possibility of a reprieve for both teams. But what I would say is that it's difficult to get involved in this discussion politically. But where does City of Liverpool play next season?
Locationally,
they're not playing at Burscough.
Locationally speaking,
yeah.
You'd want to hope that it's somewhere within the city of. The city of Liverpool.
Yeah, they've got to get back there. There's rumour has it that there's a possibility of them playing at Litherland Sports Park. Ground sharing with Remy. That's a council-owned ground. That's just a sort of wild rumour. It's
also grass-owned.
The biggest rumour is that they're actually going to go out of business themselves.
I don't think we can put any speculation on anything until we know whether City of Liverpool is actually going to be a club next season. I think
calls for a little bit of open
debate,
honesty there, and whilst they're not, then shows like ours will debate whether they're going to be in existence anymore.
My personal feeling, they're not. I honestly felt like if they were, Paul Manning would have had to come out and say something. But I think by avoiding it, I think he's just saying, we are going out of business.
I don't entirely show no sort of what would you call it, sympathy for Paul running a football club practically on your own to a degree. And listen, people can argue the toss and say, well, you had people there around him that would have helped dig him out of a hole, but you didn't accept it.
We don't know.
Unless you're actually involved in the football club, you don't know.
We don't really know,
that's why I always err on the side of caution, being a fellow chairman myself.
Quite.
But listen, nobody likes to see a club go out of business. Best of luck. Hope that they can sustain football at the City of Liverpool. Like you say, I can't. You can't see it. I can't either. But listen, moving on. Club statement. Pilkington FC are delighted to announce that Carl Lancaster is their new first team manager. Carl has previously coached at AFC Liverpool and Skelmersdale United Football Club a few seasons ago and was part of the Liverpool Academy for numerous years.
So which manager was he coach under?
Matt Potter.
Matt Potter. All right, okay. I think this is a signing for next season, isn't it? This is in all preparation for next season.
It's a bold appointment, and no disrespect to Carl, because I've messaged him, tried to get him on the show, and he said it didn't work out too well for Glenayre, so I think I'll pass on coming on your show for now, which you can understand. He's got an awful lot of work, hard work to do. I mean, the argument is that the previous manager, Scott, is it?
Pilks' manager?
Yeah.
Before Glenn?
Yeah.
Jack Edwards.
Jack Edwards was doing a relatively good job at that stage.
Yes, he was.
They drew. They beat
FC St Helens.
FC St Helens on the Boxing Day.
Yeah.
So there wasn't a great deal wrong with it. We felt at the time after we'd interviewed Glenn Hurst that he was being a little bit too radical in terms of the changes that he was going to make.
Because at that point, he
was very, very ambitious.
We didn't think that they were going to get sucked into a relegation battle at this point.
No, but we didn't think that there was a great deal of need for huge changes.
No.
It was a little bit more radical than we expected, and might have been his ultimate downfall. Yeah. Who knows? But you're not given enough time. Would you have made the appointment at the end of the season? Close season, or did you?
No, I think you've got to arrest the slide right now. Pilks haven't won a game, haven't taken a point in a game since the tail end of January. We're now at the tail end of March. They've not won a game since 2025. Something needed to give. And I think to get rid of Glenn was probably the right idea. I think, after that, it doesn't really matter at this point whether you make an appointment or not. It's just you have to hope that somebody arrests the slide.
Does the appointment surprise you? The lack of experience, and no, like I say, no disrespect to Carl. Done fairly well.
Yes and no. I mean, Carl's background is in coaching. So was Jack's.
Yeah.
And Jack is much younger than Carl, right? So
yeah.
Carl will have a bit more of experience in coaching on his side. He'll probably have a black book, to that effect as well. Can probably bring in some players who will kind of stabilise Pilks and Helm. So, no, do you know what? I'm all right with that appointment. I think there's no reason why they can't gamble on somebody with Carl's background in coaching to try and, as I say, arrest this slide.
Yeah, listen, best of luck to Carl. We can only wish him the very best and hope that he gets off to a flyer.
Yes, he does. He's. I don't want to say that he's going to have to, but he'll know that he'll have to because the games aren't kind to them.
It's a huge pressure.
There's
absolutely no doubt about it at all. And he's damned if he does, damned if he doesn't really in many ways. I think when a club's in decline, it's very, very difficult to rebuild very, very quickly. I think maybe accept the punishment. You're going to...
For now.
Do you actually really want to stay in the Premier Division? Yes, you do.
Of course you do.
Yes, you do.
And I think Pilks are probably...
Are they set up and prepared to do it?
Yeah, I think they are.
There's no money there, is there?
No, there wasn't any money, but Jack Edwards was not worried about relegation, and in fact, he... they weren't drawn into a relegation battle when Jack Edwards was there. And to be honest, like a couple of the players that they brought in now, they brought in Josh High from the Welsh Premier, Welsh Division 1.
Ex-Scam United player.
Ex-Scam United. Really?
Yeah, Josh.
Right, okay. He's also played Ashton Athletic and Burscough as well, so he knows that division quite well. Good goal scorer, winger full of flair. Harrison Denton is still playing, scored at the weekend. So there are players in that squad that can do a job. So I think Pilks are set up for the Premier Division. It's just whether they are allowed to earn the right to do it.
I don't think Carl's short of a few, Bob, either. So he might might dip into his pockets a little bit. I don't know. I'm just suggesting. Maybe listen, he'll knock me down if I'm wrong on that point. I'm sure. But listen, the one thing I do know is that knowing Carl as I do, I think he'll put everything into it. I'm pretty sure of that. So best of luck, Carl. Division 1 North, just 2 points between Nelson and Droylsden at the top of the table. Nelson beat AFC Blackpool on Monday night, which was effectively their game in hand.
I think
they dropped points on Saturday's game, which ended in a draw with Cone, and with Droylsden beating Aston Athletic 3-1. Droylsden replaced Nelson at the top of the table, albeit for that to be flipped over when they beat AFC Blackpool
on the Fylde coast. Once again, it's just going down to the wire, isn't it?
6 games to go.
It is 6 games to go for both teams.
Who do you think's going to do it?
Droylsden.
I have that feeling now.
Yeah.
Well, I think with Droylsden, I plumbed for Droylsden at the beginning of the season. I said they were going to win the league.
I think you did, whereas I said Nelson. The only reason I'm saying Droylsden right now is...
They got the momentum?
Well, the momentum is one thing, but if you think how many games Nelson have had to play in the last sort of 4 weeks or so...
Yeah, they should be pretty
knackered.
Yeah.
Absolutely, and they're still grinding out results, but there are other results in there that you think a fully fit and refreshed Nelson side would do an awful lot better than that one. And I think the Cone game was probably... the one that I'm kind of referring to. Really, I mean,
Was that at Cone, was it?
No, it wasn't. It was at Nelson. But if they are refreshed, and this is the greatest respect to Cone, no way did Nelson drop points in that game.
No.
I really didn't feel that.
But listen, we've got Droylsden, 7 consecutive league wins. Like you say, Nelson... mixed bag of results, but they're still unbeaten in the last 10 league games.
They are still unbeaten in the last 10 league games. I just think they're leaning so much.
Backlog.
The fixture backlog, and they're leaning so much on their players. And I think I don't want to say that they're relying on their stars to do it, but I just think the legs are kind of getting to them a little. And Droylsden again, and since they brought in Kyle Campbell and what's the other fella? I was talking about him on the show. the other day. Cody Artwell. Since they brought those lads in, it's taken the pressure off Nelson Van as the goal scorer, and I think that was kind of the click moment for them, where they're refreshed, most games now, and they are still, attacking on more fronts than one. Really, yes, they're looking at promotion, but I think they had a major result at the beginning of the week. That sent them into the Lancashire Cup quarter-finals at the expense of Ashton United.
Yeah,
they beat them 3-2 at Ashton. It was the semis. So Manchester Premier Cup final, Droylsden are there. Yeah. Absolutely amazing stuff. That.
So listen, looking at the playoff positions, McGull just outside that playoff scenario now. But still a possibility of getting back in the mix. Thornton Cleves is a little bit further back. Doesn't look as though it's going to happen for them this season.
Maybe not.
But they played 30 games out of the 34. There's a lot of teams behind them with games in hand as there is above them. So it's very much, I think it's going to be very much the way it is. I think that top five, there might be a little bit change in positions, but I think that top five is going to be the same top five.
Did you see MSB Walton going into the playoffs from directly from...
No, I thought they were going to struggle, to be fair.
Yeah, so did I.
I think you said that.
I think having a 40-year-old Daniel Venter in your side will do wonders for you.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, but listen, it makes you wonder whether they're set up for... whether it's a promotion too soon, if they manage to get into that playoffs and win them as well.
I don't think they'll win them.
I don't think it does the club any favours when you've come. I know Lower Breck had a sort of meteoric rise, didn't they? But I think they did it a little bit slower than what MSB Walton are doing it at what rate they're doing it
now. But even if MSB Walton do manage to kind of stay the course in terms of their in terms of where they are positionally, and it's a bit of an ask because they're still level on points with McGull, and Thornton Cleveleys and Holker Old Boys are still not out of the equation. I don't think that they make it through the playoffs. If they finish fifth and the table stays as it is right now, they've got to play either one of Nelson or Droylsden. Okay.
Yeah, Nelson, Droylsden or Darwin, haven't they?
Yeah, or Darwin.
Squires Gate, they're still surprising us now, aren't they?
Squires Gate is surprising. Yeah, I think bringing in Dean Ing and him sort of just letting fly with the goals, I think has probably been their saving grace, because they were sort of fourth or third bottom at one point, but they've done amazingly to turn it around. But for me, personally, I honestly think if whoever it is out of Nelson or Droylsden that doesn't win through the automatics,
they win the playoffs.
I believe so. Yeah, now I said this last season. It ended up being Exton Villa that won, the team that got the final playoff place. So you can't write anything off. But
there's some structure up to the top six there. Finally, at this part of the season, it looks as though there's teams there that want to win them playoff.
Oh God, yeah, there are teams that want to win that playoff. And you always do, and I think for a team like MSB...
You can't write off Holker Old Boys, are there?
I would never write off Holker Old Boys, and I said this at the start of the season. I said they'll be in there or thereabouts.
Because they've only played 27 games.
They have, and they're fine. I think they are starting to come good at the right time. So they've got...
You could take them into third place. If they play the games in hand now, you could take them into third place. So you can't write off Holker Old Boys.
No, you certainly couldn't, but I never did to begin with.
No, neither of us did. We expected them to be doing better than they've done.
Oh God, yeah. I think it was the only bit of wisdom that I thought was actually of relevance, ironically enough. But where were they at the weekend? Did they play? They didn't play. Yes, they did. They beat Bacup Borough 3-0 at home.
Yeah.
Again, a result that I don't want to say it's a result you expected, but it's Holker Old Boys at home. It's always difficult. But yeah, I wouldn't rule them out. But for me, the momentum is all with Nelson or Droylsden at this time.
Most definitely. Looking at the bottom of the table quickly, Ashton Athletic just above that drop zone there. They're in 16th position, but the two teams directly below them, Garstang and Main Road, have played 2 games less. So technically, they could go ahead of Ashton Athletic if they were to win both of their games in hand. As we know, at this level, at this end of the table, that's highly unlikely to happen. Cone have got a little bit of breathing space as well, because they've got 2 games in hand on the team below them and 3 on the team above them, AFC Blackpool. So looking at that, we still don't know what the scenarios are, but
regarding relegation,
we would say Main Road look as though they're going to finish bottom of that division.
They're going to take the wooden spoon, the proverbial wooden spoon, and I think this, it sort of pulls Main Road into a bit more of a chaotic line of questioning. Really, we already know that they're looking for a new chairman. The organisation of their off-field is one that's kind of been in the spotlight over the last.
Yeah, it's a bit of
year
a worry,
or so, really, isn't it? Yeah. So if this is their wooden spoon era, where do the club go from here, and how do they build up on it?
Yeah, there's that many teams around there that if you're going to support one, there's that many
support the little guys
to pick from, and Main Road just don't seem to be the fashionable club to be in charge of at the moment. Listen, moving on to Division 1 South, Runcorn Town registered their 19th consecutive win on Wednesday night. They're now 17 points of Eccleshaw, ahead of Eccleshaw. 1 more point will secure them the league title for Darren Moore and Liam Page. Absolute fantastic double partnership there. That's done a tremendous job since they joined the football club. Of course, last season they got them out of that relegation mire when we thought they were we thought they were odds on definitely going to go obliterated, end up in the Cheshire League, wherever it was going to be. But since Darren Moore and Liam Page came along, they've done an absolutely tremendous job.
That's an insane 29 games played, 25 wins, 3 draws and just a single solitary loss. 98 goals scored, which is by far and away the most in the league. 20 conceded. Nobody even comes close to that in terms of concession of goals. They have walked this league. They have absolutely walked it, and that's no disrespect to the teams immediately below them. But I just think Runcorn Town are in a league of their own, and I think they're more than ready for the North West Counties Prem or the Midland, whichever one you'd think it'd be the North West Counties Prem, wouldn't you?
Well, I think they'll be hoping it will. All it depends on what your plans are and your ambitions are. If you want to win promotion again, then realistically, your Midland League.
It's the better one to go for, isn't it? But logistics say you're more likely to be in the North West Counties Prem at this point. And the thing is,
expansion can't come quick enough, really, can it?
Yeah, exactly.
Because that would solve a lot of the problems.
That would solve a hell of a lot of the problems. Yeah, having
they'd be staying in the North West Counties then.
The North, the South, and the Central. Yeah, I think they'd stay in the North West Counties. Yeah. By no doubt whatsoever. But I think they can make a good go of it in the North West Counties Prem. I don't think there's any reason why they can't. We obviously we've talked about the difference in quality between First Division South and First Division North, but Runcorn Town have kind of outlined that by saying, "You look, we're ahead of the pack, we're ready," and I honestly think they can do it.
Yeah. And I feel as though they're built on foundations of good, solid, hard work rather than money.
Oh God, yeah. I think so. There's a reason why a team like that goes from being absolutely mired at the bottom of the table to being runaway leaders of your league within 18 months. There's 2 reasons. One of them is money. The other one is the buy-in. And I think in Darren Moore and Liam Page, you've probably got 2 managers there who you gravitate to them as players. You are immediately attracted to the buy-in that they offer to you. And I don't think it is money. I just think it's how they want to play the game. I think it's how they want to run a team.
And I think they're quite ambitious by the sounds of things. 100%. I think in terms of their stock value, they could definitely be managing at a much higher level anyway.
I think Runcorn is about to be the new Atherton, where actually the little team probably closing the gap on the bigger team.
Yeah. What do you think you'd say about this double sort of partnerships, or that from a chairman's perspective, if you're in the North West Counties Premier Division and you're employing a dual management team, the worry is finances, having to pay
both of them.
Equal.
Depends how much money they're having to pay the other players at this point, though, because as you said,
it'd put you off as a chairman, though.
I think it probably would put you off as a chairman, but I think
unless you've got deep pockets.
I don't think they have got deep pockets, though.
No, I'm saying
Mm-hmm.
club that might be looking at them.
Mm.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
If I was chairman of a team in the Northern Premier League West now, and I was looking at recruiting the hottest management duo or the hottest management team within a reasonable reach for us, then I'd be looking at them as a duet.
Yeah.
If I was looking at anyone, because their record stands alone, doesn't it?
Oh, it's ridiculous. Nothing comes close.
So listen, Eccleshall, it looks as though Eccleshall are going to finish in the second position, albeit that's not over by a long chalk. They've just got a couple of games in hand on Stockport Georgians, who are a point behind them. Below that, I think the guaranteed third, because New Mills 51 points. I don't think they're going to.
There's a 9-point gap between them with 4 games left. So one win for the Georgians will see them secure at least third. And 2 wins for Eccleshall will see them secure second. And then there's New Mills in 4th and Ashville in 5th.
And it's just difficult to see who's going to snatch that 5th spot.
It really does, isn't it? Because
say 5th spot now. We're looking at anybody below the 3rd position is replaceable. So New Mills, Ashville could easily be replaced by Stafford. And Sandbach, and outside chance of Telford.
Yeah, and
they still have ambitions. Apparently,
they still have ambitions. They did arrest their poor form very recently. They won not last game, the game before. They did lose their most recent game. So results are starting to turn just a little bit for them. But I still think either one of Stafford or Sandbach could get in there. It just needs some more consistency. Like particularly, both of them. To be honest, both of them were having amazing seasons last season, and we've seen the setup at Sandbach, and you've got to think, they could really make a good go of it.
Stafford's a good setup.
I've never been.
Yeah, I went to the ESPFA Cup final.
Oh, I see.
At the end of last season.
Amazing.
Really nice.
Oh, right, okay, lovely. So either one of those two could still get in there, ahead of New Mills or Ashville. Ashville, no win in their last 3 games, so they are not choosing the right time to drop. And actually, New Mills, they're unbeaten in their last 5 games, but 3 of them are draws. You're trying to hold off a bit of a chasing pack there. You're not sort of going about it the right way. So it could have been any one of those 4 teams to take those final 2 spots there. So it is quite exciting in its own self.
It's all about Telford stemming the bad fortune, bad results. They've had a draw and a win in the last 2 games, so they've done okay. Yeah,
they've done all right, haven't they? Like I say, I think right now it's all about just stabilising as much as you can till the end of the season. I don't believe that they will make it to the playoffs. I think unfortunately that is beyond them.
And Adam Wilson, when we spoke to him on the show the other week, he said that listen, we don't consider ourselves to be out of the playoffs just yet.
That's fine, but I do.
Yeah, well, fair enough, and you're often right. Sometimes you're wrong. But hey ho. Right. So listen, looking at the bottom of the table.
Hormone it's not really changed, has it?
No. It looks done and dusted for them. They're 5 points adrift of Alsage,
who have 2 games in hand.
And 6 points behind Shawbury with 4 games to go.
As we say, I don't think there'll be a relegation from this division because Wolves Sporting Community have already taken volunteer withdrawal from the league. So again, I think it's all about the best possible results at this point, but I do think it'll be Hormond.
We just don't know what the scenarios are going to be, and we don't even know. We won't know until around about June, until it's all ratified. Well, it happened to us. We didn't know until June
no, we didn't.
Whether we were having a reprieve or not. So listen, that rounds up the North West Counties. Let's move on to the Macron Cup. The North West Counties Football League have upheld a protest made by Thornton Cleaveys. The protest concerned the Macron Cup quarter-final on Thursday, the 5th of March, in which West Disbury and Chorlton fielded an ineligible player, or 2 ineligible players, was it? Or was it more than one anyway?
It was more than one.
It was more than one. The tie ended 1-1 after 90 minutes, with the Manchester-based side winning on a penalty. So the clubs are pleased to announce that the league acted on their concerns and looks forward to the replay, which is Wednesday, Monday, the 1st of April at West Didsbury Children.
That's a week tomorrow.
Yeah, under normal circumstances, when you feel ineligible player, you just get booted out.
You do get booted out, so I have
what happened to us?
We had to replay it. But that was a league game.
Yeah, it's pretty standardised.
I suppose it is pretty standardised, but it's another game. It's another game that we're having to play in a season that's already backlogged. And yes,
and by all accounts, they do have a degree of what's the word for it now? Discretionary powers to decide whether they call the game. Yeah. They kick them out of the competition or not. I think they're probably making life hard, more difficult for themselves.
I think they probably, they are.
Or whether they're just going through the letter of the law and they have no choice.
Maybe, but again, it just raises a bit of a question mark over the secretarial capabilities at West Didsbury and Chorlton. Like, was this an accident? Like, how do you accidentally field an ineligible player?
Well, more than one. How do you accidentally field more than one ineligible player? Well, it goes back to when we fielded Kanga. He had that many different names and that many different fan numbers. That it was a genuine, It was a genuine issue with fan numbers not correlating with the information that we were getting. So we didn't know that he was still signed for the City of Liverpool, AFC Liverpool at the time.
Oh, right.
And he hadn't played for them for a couple of months.
God.
It was like that. The system. Sometimes we felt as though, particularly a couple of seasons ago, that the system was set up to help you fail rather than help you succeed, which unfortunately is often the case. When you're down at the bottom of the league, you feel as though everybody's on your case. Either way, it's getting replayed.
Wednesday the 1st.
Yeah, whether Thorns and Cleveland's will do any better in that, we don't know. But
you'd want to hope so. But again, West Didsbury, is a trophy kind of what they're stepping for now? They're in 8th position in the league. Not necessarily sure they're going to make the playoffs at this point.
You've got to go for the cup, haven't you? And this is all delayed. I would imagine the semi-final that Bearsco were due to play.
Yes, I think it does. Yeah.
Hey ho. Listen, hope this resolved quickly and we can get on to see who gets eventually into the final. So Cheshire League Cup final, quarter final I should say, Runcorn beat Stockport Town 3-2 on Monday in the final minute of normal time. So welcome again to the bandwagon that is Runcorn
Absolutely. Town. The double is on as far as Runcorn Town are concerned. If they get a promotion is all but secured now, they're probably going to want the trophy to go with it, and why not? They'd already made kind of easy work of Camel Laird on the Wednesday just gone, but then the week before that, as Frank says, they forced their way into the Cheshire Cup semi-finals at the expense of Stockport Town. Can't find it anywhere here on this paper, so that's absolutely no help whatsoever.
Yeah, it was on Monday, according to the...
Monday?
Yeah, it was on Monday.
They just played on Wednesday.
Oh, right, yeah, well, they might be playing back-to-back games, I don't know. Anyway, doesn't matter. Listen, let's
there
move.
It is, yeah. No, they did. Wow, yeah, they did play. So, they beat Stockport Town at Stockport in front of 106 on the Monday night. That's not bad for a Monday night in Stockport. Connor Spears opening the scoring after 7 minutes, and then further goals from Edward Burtham and Ethan Mercer, the latter proving the winning goal against North West County's Premier League opposition there. So it's a good
middle of the table, Stockport Town, 11th position when we're talking about teams making that progress up a level.
It's a good dress rehearsal.
Yeah, Runcorn not at all fazed by the opposition
Absolutely
in the higher division.
Well, I didn't think that they ever would be, and again, I think this is more credit to Moore and Page for just...
I'm looking forward to next season.
Oh, I think it's going to be tremendous for them.
Yeah.
I think they're going to make a really good show of it, and why shouldn't they?
Yeah.
Ready, now it's the FA Trophy semi-finals, and it's a big weekend in Merseyside as both Marine and Southport are in action in the FA Trophy semi-finals as the pair of them look to make that glorious step to Wembley, because what a dream final that would be. So
Southport at home in a all ticket sellout game, 5,600 sellout at Hay Avenue. They play Woking, don't they? I think
Southport play Woking.
Yeah, of course, yeah. And Marine are away to Wealdstone.
Wealdstone Raiders, yeah.
Do you want some?
You want some? I'll give it ya.
Yeah, you want some? I'll give you some, Sam.
Yeah, so, obviously our impression of the Wealdstone Raider, absolutely spot on there.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say it was crap, but I thought it was rather good.
I was doing tongue-in-cheek, Frank. We were not good at this.
Do you not reckon?
No!
Do you want some?
Do you want
some, AJ? Are you asking for trouble, AJ?
Pointing at me as well.
Yeah, well, I just wanted to say.
You need a pint in your hand.
I thought my impression was really good, but there you go.
All right then.
You can speak for your own, I suppose. But yeah, listen, it's a fascinating weekend. Really, really hoping that they can set up a Northwest final at Wembley, and it'll be definitely a game that I'm going to.
You're going to it, are you?
Yeah, definitely going to go there, providing they haven't booked a holiday for that. I don't know what the date of the final is, but I'd definitely be wanting to go to that.
Oh, hang on, Southport, they're playing Southend.
Southend?
Yeah, Southport are playing Southend.
What did I say?
Woking.
Marine. Oh, they played
Marine
Woking.
knocked Woking
That's
out.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's Southend.
Southend,
They're playing Southend.
Yeah, so that's more Ray
I wonder
Winston.
how many fans they're bringing up.
Sorry?
I wonder how many fans they're bringing up.
Be a fair few, won't they?
Yeah.
Be an absolute massive amount there.
Oh, what a weekend, particularly for Southport being at home with a sellout crowd.
That'd be massive.
It's amazing for tourism in Southport as well.
Yeah, it is.
If I was a Southend supporter, I would probably be heading off early tomorrow morning and making a long weekend.
You'd want to, wouldn't you? You make an absolute weekend of going up to the seaside town of Southport.
Yeah, the seaside town of Southport that hardly ever sees the sea.
Exactly. Unless you stand at the end of the pier with a pair of binoculars.
Binoculars, yes.
Exactly, yeah. Now then, we certainly wish Marine and Southport the very, very best of luck and hope for that absolute dream Wembley final between the pair of them. Yeah. And we hope that they...
Go Marine, Southport.
Yeah, exactly. Hope that Wembley ticket awaits. Now then, Prescott Cables. Yeah. Very much in a relegation battle, but 4 consecutive draws in March have helped them sustain their avoidance from the bottom 3. Level on points with Workington, who are 3rd from bottom, but with a game in hand. So Workington still have the edge. Now, Cables really need to win at home to Ilkeston at the weekend. And as Workington have a tough game against Hensford, who are vying for the title, you would say that the odds are a little bit more in favour of the Cables this weekend. However, FC United are just 1 point ahead at the top of the table. So Hensford, the pressure is all on them to see if they can overhaul FC United to go back to the top.
It's been a hell of a struggle for Prescott Cables, hasn't it? But like
it really
you
has.
Said there, 4 consecutive draws in March. If they could have just turned one of them into a win, would have made so much of a difference.
Yeah.
Looking at the running, I think it doesn't matter who you're playing. It's difficult. The running for any team struggling is going to be invariably difficult for them. So I hope, because they're the Liverpool team, that they managed to hang on to their status in division, the Premier Division of the.
You'd really want them to. Like you said, they're level on points, but Workington, with a draw and 2 wins out of their last 3 games, you'd say they've got the advantage a little bit more going into the weekend. In terms of their own results. It's just the fixtures will probably lean a bit more to Prescott Cables. Yeah, as we say, they play Ilkeston, who are 13th.
Do you ever watch any of the post-match interviews with these managers? I'm sure you do, because you've often mentioned it to me. But Steve Daly, if you look at Steve Daly, he looks like an emotional cat. He looks like he's carrying a lot of stress.
Of course he is. Well, why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't he? Come on. Yeah, I mean, 20... Yeah.
See how much it means to him, and I feel for him. He's carried on in that job after... 1 or 2, certainly 2
players.
Losing the players, but having to reduce the budget as well.
Exactly.
He's stuck by them when a lot of managers might have moved on.
Yeah, exactly. It's an exhausting. It's been an exhausting season, I think, for Steve. But he's kept on in there. You know, he could have walked away and got himself in an easier job, a job with less stresses and difficulties. But do battles like this maketh the manager? Maybe they do. And I think if Prescott do survive
or
this,
they could ruin it for want of making the word up. But I feel we don't mention it often enough, but we do sort of prop it up every now and then. Is the stresses in football management, even at this level, unbelievable. You wonder sometimes whether we all take football too seriously. At the end of the day, it's a game of winners and losing. If you've got to win something, you've got to make somebody else lose.
Yes, you do. Yeah, you do. Who was it who said that football isn't about life and death? It's much more important than that. Bill Shankly. Shankly said that, yeah. And I think we still carry that motto into football 50, 60 years on from him being in the...
Of course, it's true.
It is absolutely true. I mean, football...
Once you're in it, once you're involved, you're in the engine room. And
football dictates our entire day / weekend. Yeah. All of it.
Football's on my mind the minute I wake up.
Oh my God, me too.
When I'm trying to get to sleep, and when I'm not sleeping, I'm thinking about football.
I was looking for players on my phone at 11:15 last night. I fell asleep with the phone in my hand. First thing, night before that.
Good job you didn't pocket dial someone.
Oh, well, no, but I did have a phone call on Tuesday night with a potential player, and it was like 8:00 at night, something like that. One. My missus was like, "Who are you ringing at this time?" I was like, "This is all to do with the club." And she said, "You are far too emotionally involved with this club." It's like, that's what it does to you.
I haven't spoken to your dad though. Your dad's quite he's quite excited by the fact that you're so interested in something. He's fascinated by the fact that you're so involved with the football club, not just physically, but mentally as well. Yeah, it intrigues him.
I think we could apply that to his writing of plays. Really, he gets so emotionally involved into it. He delves so deep into every single fact or fiction about it, just to see if he can add.
Well, he did say when I was speaking to him briefly on Saturday that there's not a great deal of difference between football and the arts.
No, there isn't. No,
you can see the huge similarities. I agree with him.
It's all consuming, isn't it? It really is. But anyway, we'll move it on to the Northern Premier League. West and Bury still top of the Northern Premier League West, courtesy of Kidsgrove beating Avro by 3-1 during the middle of the week, which means that Avro blew their game in hand over the Shakers, and Avro still in second place now, albeit with a 4-point healthy lead over Runcorn and Staley Celtic in third and fourth. So Avro still very much in the battle there, but it is now out of their hands as we go into the last 6 games of the season.
Can I just mention that in terms of Kidsgrove beating Avro, if you remember, there was a mass brawl ran about in October last year. I think Avro were winning 6.
So they were winning 6-0?
6-0 at the time. There was a mass brawl at the end of the game.
Yeah.
We reported, I think, on the last show about all the punishments that have been dished out.
Yeah.
What happened after the game the other day was Avro put something up on their social media. A little bit of innuendo. There was an injury, and they were suggesting that the injury was a little bit faked,
overplayed.
Oh, so they still haven't forgiven.
No, they still haven't got over it, have they? No. But unfortunately, when you're in second place, every game kind of matters and counts for it, and you scrutinise so many details in the course of trying to see where you can improve and where things didn't go right for you. So Avro still second, they sit. Bury have got a massive game against third place Runcorn Linnets this weekend. It's a sellout game at Runcorn. You cannot buy tickets at the gates. They were all pre-ordered and all gone. So don't go down to the stadium thinking that you can just blag yourself a ticket. You can't. Anyway,
we were hoping to have the vice chairman. I say vice chairman. Their chairman on Peter Cartledge. We were hoping to have him on the show this week, but of course, because of the build up to such a massive game, he was really, really busy. But hopefully, all going well. And if he possibly has a win, he'll be even more delighted to come on the show next week. So that's the plan. He's coming on the show next week.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Linnets will be hoping to make sure home advantage counts for everything. If they win, they close the gap on Bury to 2 points, making for a very interesting last couple of games of the season.
With Avro playing Bootle?
Avro are playing Bootle. So Avro in second, Bootle still not out of the playoff equation, although there is a bit of a gap between them, and they have lost their last 2 games. Yeah, we talked about them about a month ago and saying, a couple of games and they're right in it. Unfortunately, fortune has kind of gone the other way as far as their results are concerned. They're now in 7th.
The dip in form came too early.
It did, yeah. So they're now 7 points behind Vauxhall, who currently occupy the last playoff spot.
Quite a resilient Vauxhall as well.
Very resilient.
So I think they're going to be. I think they're going to maintain that position.
Well, yeah, but that could come at the expense of Lower Breck. So they slipped out of the playoff places and out of the top 5 for the first time since October. So they've spent a lot of time in there, but unfortunately, no win in their last 3 games has put paid to any notion of the title, and now they're just trying to hold on to a playoff position here. They've got
very much in the title race,
huge. Oh yeah, up until about 6 weeks ago, they were massively in the title charge, but then results don't go their way for one or two reasons. I don't know. I don't know whether it was the lack of experience at this level, whether players were tired. Whether the psychology and the pressure behind.
Because we assume it's an aging squad, don't we? Gary Moore's had a really, really successful period of time, but he's built a squad that's got him to this position. Now we wonder whether it's an aging squad.
Well, they are starting to move away, aren't they? Jesse Dowling was a major part of the squad that won the playoffs last season. He obviously left a couple of months ago.
Where did he go, by the way?
Burscough.
Jesse did. Oh yeah,
Jesse went to Burscough.
He's not being featured, though, is he?
No, not really. No, could talk to him.
Yeah.
But other players who aren't quite making the grade.
You know what? We need to get players on the show, don't we?
We could do with getting players on the show. We've never done that before.
No. There's some big characters out there, isn't there?
Some enormous characters out
Certainly
there.
Love it to get Lewis Bairn on the show and see. See what led up to his move to Bury the first time and then coming back, because that was a bit of a roller coaster for him.
Huge roller coaster for him. Nonetheless, Breck still not out of the playoff equation, but they've got a little bit of work to do. They take on 13th place Atherton Collieries at Anfield Sports Facility on Saturday.
Not an easy game by any stretch of the imagination, but we wish Lower Breck all the very best.
Yeah, we do. We're backing you, Gary. Now then, Clitheroe are just playing the season out with nothing to win or lose. Sean McConville won't be happy with his team's lack of form. They're in 14th place in the table, so no danger of relegation, but no possibility.
Well, they haven't won a game at all in the month of March.
Damn.
So they've got to finish off this month.
Yeah, they do.
One would imagine with a win against Mosley.
They're going to have to, yes. So it was back-to-back 2-0 losses at home to Whitton Albion and away at Kidsgrove before a 2-2 draw against Congleton on the Saturday just gone. So they've got one more game in March, and that is at home to Mosley. A very difficult game. Mosley, I think, are 11th right now, with Clitheroe in 14th, and then they play out the beginning of April with games on Saturday and Monday against Sporting Khalsa and then Bury. Very, very difficult few games and run-ins for Clitheroe.
We assumed, didn't we, when they had that massive game at home to York, that they progressed to the later rounds of the FA Trophy. So they've done really, really well. There'd have been a bit of prize money involved in that. There'd also been the gate receipts from the York game. But as we know, I think they're divvied out 3 ways.
Same with the Scunthorpe game.
Yeah, the Scunthorpe, they played Scunthorpe away, didn't they?
Yes, they did.
So that would have been divvied out as well. You'd expect them to make it, because the issue they had last season was they were struggling for finances. I don't, even now at that level, I don't think, even with that cup run and the money from both the York and the Scunthorpe game, I don't think it brings a huge amount of money.
I don't think it's something that you can invest long term.
No,
not that much. I think it's more likely to be put into the coffers for like the sustainability of the club,
or having another pot next season,
or having another pot next season.
Go.
But we've had this discussion with Clitheroe before. One of the earliest news points that we ever talked about was the discussion that Carl Garner had. Where he made a statement saying that Clitheroe's financial capabilities were no longer viable at this point. The chairman left, stood down, and in his place they had quite a young chairman who has his own fashion brand but wasn't willing to pump any of his own money into the club.
But at what stage does any football club become viable unless you've got a really good, huge fan base and you're realistic in the money that you spend? Like I say, Clitheroe have had a good cup run. They probably knew that they weren't going to get in the playoffs. It was going to be you're not going to throw all your eggs into one basket just to make that playoff spot. So maybe put your money to one side and have another go next season. But then you're in the same situation again, aren't you? You throw all your eggs into one basket going into the season after, and at some stage when you realise you're not winning again, you have to cut back.
Yes.
Like Prescott have done, like loads of football clubs have done.
They've cut the budget, haven't they? When they realise the ambition isn't going to match.
So much pressure in non-league football. It's unbelievable.
It's mental. It's absolutely mental. So you can understand why.
Who'd want to be involved in football? You've got to be
a bit mad.
You've got to be a little bit mad, haven't you?
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. And I think for Clitheroe, I think it's really quite damning because they're in a decent location.
I love Clitheroe.
Oh God, yeah, the town of Clitheroe is beautiful,
and they're very, very passionate supporters.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even in the Northwest Counties days when they only had they'd average around about 260, 70 supporters, and they were noisy, horrible at times as well, but noisy.
Yeah.
And a very quintessential sort of traditional non-league football club.
Yeah.
Higgledy-piggledy stands here, bits of this here and bits of that there, and leaking roofs and old little sort of canteen sheds and old turnstiles. Everything great about crumbling terraces. Everything that's proper non-league. And then, of course, depending on which side you stand, one side you stand, I think you can see Pendle. On the other side, if you're standing on there, you can see the castle.
Beautiful.
It's just charming. It's absolutely charming.
But from like a footballing hotspot point of view, it's a good catchment area, isn't it?
Well, I don't know what the population of Clitheroe is.
I don't know if it's any more or any less than Skelmersdale, to be honest.
I think it would be less. It's not a very big town by any stretch of the imagination. The only thing you could say there is if you were holidaying in that area, and the Ribble Valley is a great place to holiday, but if you were actually looking at watching football in that area, you'd probably go to Clitheroe.
You certainly would. 18,000?
18, yeah, I thought it's only a very small town.
That is tiny.
It's a market town, isn't it? Yeah.
It is a market town, yeah.
I had my 18th birthday, believe it or not, I had my 18th birthday in Clitheroe.
1985.
40 years ago. 40 years ago, I had my 18th birthday.
You were on the lash in Clitheroe.
Yeah, I'll say the reason, because my dad had a caravan in West Bradford.
Yes.
It's West Bradford. And we obviously stayed there, but we got a taxi into Clitheroe and paid to the town rent. So there was only me and my family there. And we ended up in the British Legion playing snooker.
God.
I'm very old. Listen, even when I was back, when I was 18.
Did you call it a night on the tiles, have fish and chips and still be home with a fiver in your pocket?
I can't remember what I had, but I think my dad actually paid for me night out. So I was in pocket by the time I got back to the caravan.
Boy, that'll do.
Yeah, but really passionate memories.
Yeah.
And of course, Tommy Lawson, my good friend, our good friend, mutual friend, he managed at Clitheroe as well.
Did he?
Yeah, for a short period of time.
I did not know that, but fair play to him. I can see why he would. He deserves that.
Yeah, so listen, best of luck to Sean McConville. Let's hope things improve there. And we're going to controversial corner.
Controversial corner.
So AFC Rushden and Diamonds can confirm that following an on the field altercation during their fixture against Loughborough students, the club have informed both Bruno Andrade, and Tyler Winters that they've both been will not be selected for the remainder of the 25-26 season and are free to pursue opportunities with other clubs. This, of course, is about an incident that took place on the pitch where they ended up fighting with each other.
They ended up fighting with each other in about 20 odd minutes into the game or something like that. Both of them was subsequently sent off. It kind of evokes memories of Lee Bowyer and Kieran Dyer back in 2005 when they were fighting with each other, and both of them were sent off against Aston Villa.
It was the other one when what's his name? Was it Gary Lasso? Didn't he have it on the screen?
Graham Lasso.
Who did I say then? Yeah, Graham Lasso and...
God.
I'm sure they had a fight as well. He had a fight with somebody, one of his teammates.
I can't remember that one.
But listen,
anyway,
nobody wants to see violence at any level.
No, we don't.
But does the crime justify the punishment justify the crime?
Yeah, I would.
Would you not deal with it in-house?
No, God. Well, I think you've got to be... First of all, it doesn't reflect the kind of the code of conduct or standards that Rushden and Diamond are going to set out there, are they? They don't want players fighting with each other, and if they do, it certainly isn't going to be on the pitch in front of impressionable kids and fans of the club, because that's a really, really unpleasant thing.
It is, but you can blow your stack in a...
No, there's blowing your stack, but then there's actually fighting, like actually getting physical. If a player doesn't pass to you or doesn't make the right pass or something, you scream at them and you yell at them, sure, but you don't start throwing fists. That's just ridiculous.
But it has happened. I mean, listen, we've seen an altercation between, just trying to think, the two Everton players the other week. I know it was handbags, or it was pushing and whatever.
No, do you know what? It was Michael Keane and Idrissa Gueye.
It was Tarkovsky, was it?
No, I tell you what I'm thinking about is before Christmas at Man United when Idrissa Gueye was sent off after about 13 minutes because he slapped Michael Keane.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
But there's another one recently, wasn't there? That was
you say so.
Yeah, because we talked about it on the show.
Okay. I didn't see that one. I can't remember
talking about it. It was handbags. There was pushing, shoving.
Anyway,
whatever.
Yeah, there's pushing and shoving. That's one thing. But from what I've seen, these lads have actually, or what I've heard, sorry, these lads have actually thrown hands at each other, and it's been quite aggressive. Because you don't really, as a referee, you don't send players off for just pushing and shoving. Otherwise, you'd never get anywhere. It's got to have actually involved hands to faces or punches being thrown.
But if you're in the Premier League and you have an altercation on the pitch with your own teammate and it is a full-blooded punching match, I think they will be severely reprimanded, but because of their contract. And yet they could obviously get kicked out on the basis of gross misconduct, breaking the terms and conditions of their contract. But it depends on how significant and important that player is to your team.
I don't think that.
But it does. It does though, doesn't it? No, listen. If Wayne Rooney had a fight with Gary Neville when he was at Manchester United, Gary Neville leaves Manchester United and probably joins Phil Neville at Everton. Wayne Rooney stays at Manchester United. There's no way on this earth is Wayne Rooney going to get sacked from Manchester United.
Are you saying that Wayne Rooney is equivalent to Bruno Andrade and Tyler Winters? Tyler Winters and Bruno Andrade are expendable. They're semi-professional footballers.
I know, but that doesn't matter, does it? Because they're expendable. It's down to the fact that whether it's a level playing field. If the same would happen in the Premier Division as would happen in the lower leagues, and it wouldn't.
No, it wouldn't, but at the same time, this isn't the professional game, and AFC Rushden and Diamonds have got to be seen to be making some kind of statement here, saying that if it was Skem, would you have the players still playing? I wouldn't want them to.
It would depend. I mean, because we've not actually seen the altercation.
No,
we don't know whether they've had previous issues between the two players before.
I think there has been. I think something
in terms of discipline.
Happened.
But if there's been an impact between the two of them that is they can't resolve, and decide to get rid of both of them rather than one, it seems that they're not particularly they're not as important to the football club as Wayne Rooney would be to Manchester United. No. So they're expendable in that sense. I totally understand that.
Yeah.
But if two players were fighting, had a full-on scrap at Skem, I think I'd want to know what the background first was, how it happened, whether it was ever likely to happen again, because we know some really, really nice people at the football club. Some of the players are really extremely nice. If one of those, I mean, let's look at a player that you'd think that was least likely to punch anyone on the pitch, and let's say it was
Neil Ellison. Let's say hello.
Say hello. Hello.
Don't.
Let's talk about somebody that maybe is. Elo's a lively character, isn't he? Within the changing rooms, he's
very vocal.
He's a big character, very vocal on the pitch. I'm talking about somebody that is less vocal on the pitch, meeker and milder, maybe. Maybe one of the Carringtons. If they had a full-on scrap with someone, you'd think it was, first of all, really out of character, and then you'd want to know what made him do that. And I would imagine if it was one of them that ended up having a scrap, they would be, at the end of it, they would be really distraught. They'd be really disappointed with themselves. And I'm just thinking that we can all make mistakes. Can we learn better from them by dealing with it in-house? Helping them to deal with their aggression?
I think in this case, I think it was documented previously that they both had a bit of a history with each other, and I think this may have been like a bit more of a final straw.
But Cantona was a hothead. We've mentioned this before. Cantona was a hothead. He went Kung Fu style kicked.
And I wouldn't have had him in the club. If I was Ferguson, I'd have put him on the transfer list.
But he was bigger than the club at the time, wasn't he?
Exactly.
He was bigger than Ferguson.
Yeah, I think he was.
Ferguson let him get away with murder.
Yes, he did.
Well, next to murder.
Yeah, GBH. Yeah, I wouldn't have.
So it depends on how important you are to the club.
No, it doesn't.
It does. It does in that sense, because if your prized asset, I mean, let's assume that one of these players had been on a contract, and by letting him go, he becomes a free agent. And if he's got potential of playing in the Football League or even the Premier Division at some stage, you've lost your asset. You don't get rid of your asset that easily if he's and that's what I'm saying. He's probably not. He's probably not a contracted player. And I'm playing devil's advocate here. I know that. But I think there's levels where there's discretionary powers are determined on the financial status of the football club and whether he's more of a valuable asset. And obviously these two weren't.
No, they certainly weren't. And I don't think anybody is at this level, to be quite honest. I understand what you're saying, but again, if he's displaying this kind of behaviour right now, is any club higher up going to want to touch him with that kind of bombastic attitude? By the time he was 26, no one was really touching Mario Balotelli because he knew how ludicrously inconsistent he was.
But wasn't it? Was that? I don't know whether that was down to the fact. Wasn't his brother his manager, his owner?
I have no idea.
Remember, there was a player, wasn't there? That he didn't have a contract with the football club. He had his own contract
with a third party. That was Carlos Tevez.
That was Tevez.
Yeah, God, that was messy, that one. But yeah, that's. So anyway, Bruno Andrade and Tyler Winters have not been selected for the remainder of the 25-26 season, free to pursue opportunities with other clubs. They've both since posted on their own social media, issuing heartfelt apologies to Rushden and Diamonds as a club and to the fans, and all that usual blasé of I will come back stronger, I will learn from this, I just want to finish the remainder of the season as best I can, etc., yada yada.
The club has said that there'll be making no further comments.
No, they're not going to make any more comments.
Which you can understand.
They've literally and psychologically made a statement, and I think they've made the right one.
Yeah, fair enough. I was just playing devil's advocate. But listen, we move on to hashtag United. Now, I don't know if this is a rehashed story. Forgive the pun or play on words there. But rumour had it that hashtag United had been voluntarily resigned from the Isthmian League, Premier League, and that the players were informed last week. It turns out that this story is now true. Because
so just for a translation there, the Isthmian Premier League is the equivalent of the Northern Premier League Premier Division.
Yeah, that's the one. The league had received a written request from hashtag United for the club to be relegated from Step 4, regardless of its finishing position at the end of the season. The club has also notified the Football Association of its request, and it is the FA that will make the final decision on it.
Yes.
The league is not in a position to make a clear statement about what will happen. Still, the usual situation is that the club resigning during the season is treated as having been relegated, while the club finishing fourth from bottom is reprieved. However, as stated, this decision can only be made by the FA and will notify clubs as soon as that decision has been made and communicated to them. They're currently 1 point above the drop zone, and I think there's a press release from Spencer, the chairman, the owner, the big YouTube influencer, TikTok influencer, whatever his name is.
Is it Spencer Owens?
Spencer Owens sounds good.
Yeah, sure, why not? Let's double check.
So he's come back with his own.
Spencer Carmichael Brown. God, that's okay. So it's Spencer Carmichael Brown. That's his name. And yeah, he has released his own statement just in regards to the withdrawal. All right, and it's 3 pages long. Okay.
So we won't read it all.
No, we won't read it all.
But the gist of it, if you think about it, is that the unexpected expectations of running a football club and the financial side of it, he didn't want to run a club unrealistically.
No, he didn't. No. So what he spent 3 pages of his statement not saying is that I think the budget has been cut. And
no, they've not cut the budget.
They're not cutting the budget, but they. Okay, what the hell has he tried to say here?
They're trying to be realistic. I think what he's saying is that if, in order to be competitive at that league, they would have to break. They'd have to break the bank, budget-wise, in order to maintain it.
Fine.
So dropping this. We've been talking about this in recent weeks about finding your realistic level.
Yes.
He's obviously more concerned about making sure that the football club stays in business than chasing unrealistic dreams. And I've got to support Spencer in everything that he says there. It's they didn't initially want to release anything to the public until they knew. Until Spencer had actually. Sort of formulated his statement, which he has done. He says that the players were told at the earliest opportunity so they could make decisions about their own futures before the registration deadline. I don't think many of the players have left the football club by the sounds of it.
No.
He said, "Make no decision. This is mistake. Make no mistake. This is our decision. Nobody has made us do it. We're choosing this because, after a long time thinking, we believe it makes the best possible foundation for what comes next." I don't know what comes next. He said football's governance is lacking. The finances are unsustainable at every level. The rules no longer prioritise what made people fall in love with the game in the first place. It's become a victim of its own success and in too many places sold to the highest bidder. There's no denying this year has been a tough one on the pitch. The reality is we're about where we should be given our budget in a landscape of unprecedented spending in the 7th tier. Call it the Wrexham effect if you like. We want to have the best players we can have and play at the highest level possible, but not at the cost of our staff's jobs. So they're obviously concerned about the people that are employed by the club, and it's not at the cost of being able to continue our mission of innovating and changing the game, which, as we know, hashtag, the name itself, they've never had their own home ground.
No, they haven't.
They've been ground sharing since inception. There didn't seem to be any clear plan to move into their own ground. I don't know what you make of it, because it seemed as though they were trying to create something out of nothing. And once it's got a little bit more too difficult and he's realised how hard it would be to sustain football at that level, he's decided to be more realistic.
Which you think is bizarre, given that his team were just 1 point and one place above the drop zone. So it almost really feels like he's rage quitting. The act of getting so angry and frustrated with a video game that you quit it rather than see it through and actually lose.
Well, listen, anything like that, I call them reality football clubs. It's a bit like what the bloke at Daisy Hill's trying to do. Really,
Aaron Hunt.
Aaron Hunt is trying to he's trying to create a football club out of improve its finances using social media as a platform. It's obviously not working at hashtag enough. I don't think their crowds were ever significant enough. I don't know what they're...
I think they do an awful lot of YouTube streaming, and that's where their that's where their viewership...
But it's so competitive now, isn't it? So I don't know at what level Spencer Carmichael Brown is, but he's obviously not having deep enough pockets to fund... or nor does he think that he should continue funding a football club.
That's
it's unrealistic, and he's right.
Yeah, it is.
He's to be applauded in many ways.
Yes and no, because how is it that you've gone 10 years and not made a single discussion point about having your own ground, and you've just been happy to...
Well, we don't know whether they have or they haven't.
You would think that they would make some kind of noise.
Who was the other club that we were talking about that's owned by the Bitcoin bloke?
Rail Bedford.
Yeah, Rail Bedford. Rail Bedford, they've never got their own ground either, have they? I don't think they got their own ground yet either.
Well, no, but they are very, very new. I think we're talking about sort of 4 years old. And even then, ironically enough, I think the owner of that could probably fund it himself. So they were founded in 2002. All right. And Peter McCormack, who's the Bitcoin guy, I think he's only taken it over in 2022. All right, so this was a merger between.
Well, they wanted the merger, but it never happened, did it?
No. It was it was a merger between Bedford United.
Yeah.
Okay, and US Valerio. Okay, to form Bedford United and Valerio. Okay, and they amalgamated under that name to take the place in the Premier Division of the Spartan South Midlands League. All right, and then they became Rail Bedford in 2022. When... I
might have it wrong about them. Have they got their own ground? I can't remember now. It seems to be such a long time ago since we reported on it.
No, so they do.
So they got huge backing, didn't they, from
Cormac and the Winklevi.
The Voss brothers.
Yeah, they do. So they play in Bedford at Allen Park. Then they played at Fairhill on Clapham Road. The land that they had was then bought by Sainsbury's, and they ground shared temporarily before they moved to McMullen Park in 1996. When the merged clubs were formed, they continued to play at McMullen Park, which is where they are to this day. So they do have their own ground.
All right, fair enough.
All right, so they had their own ground before they became Real Bedford, but hashtag United never have, but they've been in business for 10 years. And nothing
sounds a little bit like City of Liverpool.
Does sound a bit like City of Liverpool as well. But in this 3-page bluster, when he talks about, and one of the key points that he talks about is this is not a relegation, it is a revolution. No, it isn't. A revolution would be discussing the notion of actually buying your own piece of land or getting into a position where you have your own ground and putting down roots within the community so that people can actually use this as a hub, an attraction, and a point of interest for anybody, not just within the circle of football, but outside that one as well. All he's done is make up a football team with a fancy hashtag United name and used it as his bit of his plaything. And now that he's started to run out of money and realise the difference in how difficult it is to run at step 3, he's like, oh no, we're going to drop down, actually. We're not going to take the relegation. We're going to take voluntary demotion back down to step 4, and we're going to try again. It's a revolution, guys. Hashtag piss off.
But isn't that isn't that good sort of business sense anyway. Well, if you look at a business that's struggling, it downsizes a little bit, it reduces its workforce, and then fights again.
I'd have waited out the season, personally. I think by doing this...
Well, we know that from a football spectator perspective, supporters won't accept, like you're giving it a supporters point of view there, and I fully respect that, and that's the way supporters will be thinking.
Don't skippy.
But if in terms of keeping that legacy going, that what they've been going now since 2015, you want to keep that going, downsize a little bit in order to, and by the sounds of it, they do employ people. He's more concerned about protecting those people that he's employing that are in full-time employment, as opposed to your chairman, Mr. Sir Jim Ratcliffe, who is getting rid of the tea lady.
Oh, I hate him. Yeah. I don't like Jim Ratcliffe.
No, I know, but you're a Manchester United supporter.
I'm a Skelmersdale United supporter. I just happen to follow Manchester United.
Yeah, well, I'm the same with Everton.
Anyway.
But yeah, it doesn't look good for them anyway, does it?
Well, like it doesn't. It doesn't.
It's the optics more than knowing what actually is going on behind the scenes.
Yeah, I know. I just think the business. I just think the way that they've gone about it is not really in keeping with the dignity and the pride that a football club should be having. Yeah, they might be a point above the relegation zone, but I think you wait out until the season is done before you make your statement to the FA and the Isthmian League and ask to be. Demoted.
We need to get him on the show, because I'd be interested to know at which point did he actually think that he had to take the job.
And my opening statement will be, thanks for coming on the show. Now listen here, you little
Yeah. Anyway. Well, you wouldn't. You'd be dead nice. You'd be friends for life at the end of it.
We won't be friends for life, man.
But listen, moving on to Nantwich Town.
Nantwich Town. So, following an alleged inappropriate comment from a member of the crowd towards a Darlaston player and a prolonged stoppage during which a member of the crowd was ejected from the stadium, the Darlaston players collectively felt they were unable to continue the game, which Nantwich were leading 3-1. Whilst this is bitterly disappointing for all concerned, the club has zero tolerance towards any inappropriate behaviour and comments, and fully supports and respects Darlaston's decision. The club has followed the full and correct processes in dealing with this and will await further instruction from the league following the referee's report, and will provide further updates following this. I love what the pair of them have done here, because this is absolutely the right way to deal about it. There is no doubt whatsoever that racism is now on the rise again with football. After that period where players
should we be stopping games when it's been dealt with, though? That's the question. That's the question that's arisen from this. I disagree.
No, I agree.
I don't think you can down tools on that basis. I think the member of the crowd that's aimed is racist abuse has been ejected from the crowd. I think you've got a duty of care towards your supporters as well. That the honest, genuine. So listen, the vast majority of supporters are not racists.
No, they're not.
You've got the odd one or two knobheads, and unfortunately, it feels like it's getting worse.
It is getting worse.
I think it's down to social media. It's just getting reported more often. I think it's always existed. Yep. It was far worse in the 80s.
Probably.
It was far worse when I was a season ticket holder at Goodison Park, and a lot of the racism was aimed at their own players, which was even more shocking. But in terms of a relatively small crowd. They've managed to locate the person that's been aiming the abuse. They've ejected him from the crowd. Nantwich are leading 3-1. I don't know what minute in the game it is. I've not done my research well enough there to find out. But I think the game should have continued. I don't think it's fair on the genuine people that turn up and pay week in, week out, come to watch a match that, listen, they're losing 3-1. There is a suggestion. And it's only a suggestion, not my suggestion, but certainly been on social media, is that they took the opportunity to walk off the pitch because they were losing
3-1, so they were going to throw the game to have it replayed.
Yeah.
You would really hope that isn't the case.
Well, I would, yeah, but I mean, listen, they might have been so genuinely upset by what had happened. And listen, I don't make let's make no bones about it. If you're subjected to vile abuse of any nature, whether it be racist, homophobic, misogynistic, whatever disgusting behaviour anybody throws at you, it can unsettle you, and it can certainly. And I hope it's for genuine reasons. But there is a certain section of social media now, particularly a lot of fans that were there at that particular game said the game should have gone ahead because they'd identified the person and he'd been ejected.
I think
I can see it from both perspectives.
Yeah, I think between Nantwich and Darlaston, I think the need to abandon the game probably sends a message, doesn't it? It sends a message that racism isn't welcome at all. And actually,
you can still make that point without abandoning the game.
Can you imagine being subjected to shit abuse for something that you have no control over, something that doesn't hurt anybody, and then be expected to carry out your duties playing a game of football?
Most players at every level now are under a torrent of abuse for anything. We've seen slightly overweight players that have been abused because they're slightly overweight, and the comments that are aimed at them, which are quite damaging and upsetting. People find fault in everyone in order to
feel like the bigger man.
Well, not to feel like the bigger man, but to get an edge in a football match. They think supporters feel as though the more abuse that they give a player, the less effective he'll be on the football pitch. And it's horrible. It's vile most of the time. You go into any Sunday League football game, and even children's football these days, the parents are bloody, by and large, and absolutely shocking.
Yeah, I know, they're awful, aren't they?
It's awful, and I just think that what we're doing is now we're in a position now where we're altering the narrative of a football match, which doesn't benefit the genuine people, the vast majority of genuine people that turn up to pay their money. Mm-hmm. And okay, this game will be replayed, and one would imagine that they'd be getting free entry to go and watch that game again. If that's the case, but then not everybody will be able to get the same time off in order to go and watch this replay.
No, they won't.
This rearranged.
And you know what? That's I feel sorry for them, but that's part and parcel of how you send a message. That's part and parcel of how you stamp it out. And the thing is, if they send this kind of behaviour, but if they send this kind of message now to abandon a game, that will probably lead to an influx of influence off the pitch.
But it's not working, is it? Because how many games have been abandoned through such abuse? We heard recently, didn't we? Was it a female official? A game was abandoned because of the abuse a female official received.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
It seems to be a reoccurrence now that the abuse leads to an abandonment of a game. We talk about it, but we can still talk about it without a game being abandoned.
But I think it's a bit unprecedented right now, because how many games several years ago were being abandoned because of the racism? It wasn't.
But it
was very unheard of.
I don't think a referee back in the day would have allowed it to happen.
Maybe not.
He would have had enough rule and force to say, no, hang on a minute, we've got to carry on with the game. Listen, it appears that there's never going to be a perfect balance in this argument.
But you'd really want there to be, because why does skin colour matter that much?
Well, none of it matters.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't matter whether you're black, white, fat, big-eared,
bald.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what you are. How you are as a person on that football pitch. You go there to watch a game of football. If that was your son, you wouldn't be abusing him. No. You've got to remember that you're abusing somebody else's son. And it doesn't matter what that abuse is, whether it's misogynistic abuse to a female official. It could be, you don't know, that their mum and dad could have been in the crowd watching her officiate a game. I feel as though, yes, it's terrible. That kind of abuse.
It's a hate crime
at anyone. It is, but it's been going on for absolute donkey's years, and games haven't
exactly, and it's not changing.
No, but it's not changing even now when games are getting abandoned. That's
but only one or two have been abandoned because of it.
There's more than we talk about.
There may well be, but I don't think it's enough if the message is still being generally
Don't
put
get
out
me wrong,
there.
I can understand when a Sunday League or a Saturday League Park team, when there's been abuse aimed at a referee and he's felt physically as though he's going to be hurt, then I can understand why he would abandon a game. I've known referees abandon games and then as they've been walking off, been beaten up by people. That's not changed. It's still happening now.
Yeah.
I think we've got to the stage now where we've got to go deeper. We've got to find out, the greatest psychologists in the world have got to look at the human mind and see how they can moderate people's tempers. There's got to be a way of finding out how to moderate all the bad stuff that's going on right across the world, not just in football, across all sports, even in workforce. We seem to be I think we're more angry now.
Yeah,
I think I'm more angry. I'm getting angry now talking about this.
No, I am.
Because it frustrates me.
Yeah.
But I don't think fundamentally, doing what's been happening with the abandoned games, I don't think it might be throwing more light on it. But I think you can still throw as much light on it without abandoning games. I don't know what the balance is, but I think we've got to look at human nature. And we've got to find a way of tapping into people, and whether that can be done through social media, I don't know. There's an awful lot of AI hanging around, and I don't know what to believe now. When I go on Twitter, I've got to go to the BBC News or somewhere to find out whether it's.
Oh, I don't know if I believe them.
Well, yeah, even then.
I'm so terrified of certain political
the world
parties.
news, you have to listen to radio.
Anyway, I think we're at sort of polarising opinions on whether this was the right course of action.
I think we're pretty close to each other. It's just frustrating that
it's frustrating.
we're not achieving anything either way.
Not yet. But this is going to be a battle that we're still going to have for a long, long time, and I think standing up to it still needs to be a thing. I
think the fact that we were talking about before about two lads going to battle in the same team and fighting, going toe to toe with each other, it says an awful lot about aggression, and we seem to be a more aggressive nation. I don't know, but listen, we'll park the bus on that one. We'll talk about Morecambe Football Club. Very, very briefly, we talked about it before. Legacy debts, winding up orders, you name it, it's all happened at this club. So there's a current winding up order because somebody's pursuing a historic debt that was existed within the football club before Punjab Warriors took over. I think what we do know at the moment is that the owners of Morecambe are actually talking to that company now and trying to settle it before it goes any further to get it
before anything sort of more comes of it.
Get it reversed.
So they did actually release a statement. So this was yesterday. Morecambe FC can confirm that it became aware yesterday of a winding up petition that has been filed against the club by KPM Groundworks Limited in relation to a legacy debt incurred prior to the takeover by Punjab Warriors in August. This was the first notification that the club received regarding the action. Since becoming aware of the petition, the club has been in immediate dialogue with both the supplier and its legal reps, with the aim of reaching an agreement to have the petition withdrawn ASAP. The club will continue to keep supporters informed and will provide a further update as soon as it is in position to do so. So they've recognised it and now they're working on it, and that's probably as much as what they can do at the minute.
Don't you think their accountant, when they were doing this deal, would have flagged that up?
But wasn't their accountant somebody who had been in a bit of trouble before?
I don't know.
I know Jason Whittingham certainly had, but I think Morecambe probably had.
You should, as a new owner of a football club, you should know about legacy debts.
Ideally, yes, you would like to think so, but I just.
So listen, it's not looking good for them anyway.
It's just a bit chaotic at the minute.
They're in the bottom two. The 5 points ahead of Truro City. I don't know how many teams in the National League get relegated.
I believe is it 2? I think it is.
I think it's 2.
Yeah, so they are only
1
a point.
Adrift.
They're only a point behind Braintree Town, and there's still 6 games left to go, so they could get out of it. Their form generally is better than Braintree. They've had 2 wins and a draw out of their last 5. Braintree drew the other night, where Morecambe lost 3-2 against Hartlepool. So it's again, it's the season sort of lurching a little bit.
Listen, if they get relegated, they're no strangers to the Northern Premier League anyway. So
that's where they'll be going, isn't it?
Yeah, that's where they'll be going. Yeah.
Wow. No.
Sorry, no.
National
the Conference
League North.
National League North. Sorry.
Crying out loud.
Sorry.
What a game that would have been.
Take a note. It's been a long show, but yeah, listen.
3 hours.
They played much lower. They played in the Northern Premier League once.
Yes,
they used to play in the same.
Yeah.
I think Skem used to play them back in their first.
In their heydays.
Sorry, in the Northern Premier League.
Mental.
It's been a difficult season for Morecambe fans. Really fabulous stadium they've got up there, by the way.
As well. The Wham Stadium.
Yeah, is that the Wham?
No, that's Accrington.
That's Accrington.
It's the Mazuma Stadium.
The Mazuma.
Yeah, after Mazuma Mobile. Anyway, it's a beautiful stadium and a very nice, very undiscovered part of the country, actually.
And just a little sort of snippet, little bit of...
Don't say it's where Tyson Fury lives.
Oh, no, but a fact.
A
little other fact other than the Tyson Fury thing, because he has his gym in the stand, one of the stands there. So we had mentioned that already before. But what was I going to say? So a couple of seasons ago when we rebranded, we went with the Terrace. When they were in the Football League, they were the first Football League team to start wearing the Terrace
strip.
Oh,
wow. Love that. Yeah. Terrace are really good as well. I really liked their strip.
Yeah, I did.
I think it was excellent.
I did, but they never got back in touch with me. So
sad.
Anyway. Listen, it's been a big week for controversial stories.
Well, the thing is, it's been 2, hasn't it?
So it's been 2 weeks. But most of it just come up in the last sort of
4 days.
4 days.
Crammed it all in.
It's always nice to get a few controversial stories out there, because some weeks it's. Not that we want controversial stories.
Oh, we like controversial stories.
It always helps. But listen, that's the end of part 1. In part 2, we'll be interviewing Ryan Donnellan, who's the Charnock Richard manager. Look forward to speaking to him after the break. Welcome to the second part of the Speaking Frankly football show, and a very, very, very warm welcome to Ryan Donnellan, the manager of Charnock Richard. Welcome to the show, Ryan.
You okay?
Yeah, not so bad. How's it going?
Yeah, all good. Ready for a break, a much needed break in 5 games' time.
5 games' time.
Well, listen, we start our interviews slightly differently now by asking a question that could sort of set the tone for the rest of the interview, really. It's looking at football as both a gift and a challenge. What has football given to you, Ryan, but what has it taken away from you as well? And I know you're only 35 years of age, so it's been a sort of small window, but I'm pretty sure it's given you a lot and taken an awful lot away from you.
Yeah, it has. I'd say it probably took away my playing career early, because I stopped playing at 28. But it's given me a lot of great memories, I'd say. Since I was a kid playing, but even taking over at Charnock Richard in the North West Counties, we've had some really good memories in the last 7 or 8 years.
Is that how long you've been in charge of Charnock Richard? Since
8 years, I think.
8 years?
Yeah, the first team, I did a year with the reserves, and I've played for Charnock since I was a junior, so yeah, I've been there a long time.
Is that the only team that you've played for in your career, Ryan?
Yeah, as a junior, when I was a kid, Charnock didn't really have junior teams. Over the last probably 10, 12 years, they've really built a good section at Charnock in terms of junior. So I was actually our local rivals, as it is now, is Copley United. I started my junior career there.
Okay.
And then moved to Aspel Juniors in Wigan. And then that's when I came back to Charnock, when we started getting these junior teams. So I played from there, probably from under 15s all the way through to youth team, adult football, and then eventually took on the role of reserve team manager.
Yeah, I think it's quite unusual, really, for it, particularly in non-league football, for somebody to start sort of be involved in junior football and then be elevated to the manager. But you just hit on it before there earlier and what it's taken out of you. What was the choice in terms of finishing football as early as 28 years of age? What was the reason behind that?
Well, I took over initially of the reserve team at it would have been 26 as player manager because I wanted to carry on playing, but I also thought I couldn't not take the opportunity in taking the manager's role. I'd actually been managing Charnock junior teams as well since I was 17, so I did a one team all the way through from under 6s all the way to under 18s. So yeah, I took the reserve team job. We did really well in that season. We just about missed out on winning the league, and then we won the cup in that season. And then out of the blue, the first team manager approached me and said, "I'm doing one more season and then I'm going to retire. So I want you to come in with me for a year and then take over," which was a little bit of a shock, to be honest, because Andy, as well as it was, he'd been with us 18 years at that time. And he asked me, and it was a no-brainer for me. I think if that opportunity hadn't come, if I'd have said no at that time, would it have come around again? So that was basically the decision for me why I had to take that opportunity at that time.
Were you still enjoying playing at this point, Ryan?
As a player manager, no, it was very difficult. It was very difficult to try and give your best on the pitch when you're also thinking about tactics and who we're going to take off and things like that. So I sort of only did the player and manager role for probably the first 7 or 8 games, and I thought this is too much. So I sort of took a step back from playing and took more of the management side of it. But yeah, it was a couple of seasons before that. We had an unbelievable season. I think I was probably 22, 23 at the time, and we won the league and cup double, scored a few goals that season, so that we hit an all-time high, and then we never really continued that, so I sort of lost the enjoyment a little bit of playing. So yeah, it was it wasn't as great. So yeah.
So that particular season you talked about, you scored 41 goals, didn't you, by all accounts?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, 41 goals that season.
Well, just a handful. Just a handful, then, by all accounts.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Somehow, Ryan, I don't think you were playing left back while you were doing all that. Were you a striker?
Yeah, I was a striker. Yeah. I've always played striker. I'm not so big, but I was quite quick at the time. Not so quick anymore.
With that in mind, then, as a player manager, how did you find it really difficult to try and get a wider aperture of how the team are performing compared to how it is on the sidelines now? Is it much more difficult?
Yeah, definitely, because you're trying to concentrate on yourself, obviously, trying to perform and still score goals. But you're also thinking about if we're getting beat or if we're drawing and we need to win, and then you're having to rely on your assistant and your coach on the side to sort of make the main decisions, where that sort of generally comes down onto the manager to make them decisions in a game. So yeah, you have to have people you trust in there, but yeah, it was quite difficult.
Listen, talking about your journey, it's 8 years in management with the first team, so it's going back quite a bit now. We're talking about the journey so far. Whenever I speak to other managers about Charnock, they always say the same thing, that you set out your teams well, you play football as everybody likes to see football played, and it's good on the eye. But you've had a mixed bag of results this season. How difficult has it been to find consistency, and how tough is it managing in the North West Counties Premier Division?
Yeah, you just sort of hit the nail on the head there. That was what I was exactly going to say, is consistency. To be honest, I think we've sort of been very similar for 2 seasons now. Last season we finished 12th. I think this season is going to be roughly the same, 12th or 13th. But when we set our targets at the start of the season, it's got to be to aim for playoffs, and we've been inconsistent, but we've always been a team that scores goals. We're probably one of the top goal scorers in the league, but we concede far too many. And And it seems to be a similar thing. So we've got this, maybe like every season you always think, right, we'll sign him, we'll look at him, we'll look at them plays, but and you think you're making them right decisions, and sometimes it doesn't come off. But that's why I said from your first question, 5 games to go, it sort of is, let's get 5 games out of the way, sort of have a little break and then reset and review everything and go again. But consistency is massive, and it is difficult because you're playing Saturday, Tuesday, you're training Thursday, and then you're back in it again Saturday. It's good and bad, because if you have sort of a bad result on a Saturday, you've got a quick turnaround to try and put it right on the Tuesday. You've not got a big break to dwell on things a little bit. But that's a difficult side. It's very, very intense as a manager. It's not just you turn up on a Saturday at 2 o'clock and you go home at 5 o'clock, and you turn up on a Tuesday and you train 8 till 9. It's you have WhatsApp groups, you've got management in the coaches, you're chatting about players, team selection, who you're playing, looking at VO footage and things like that. It's very intense, and it's the same for the players as well. They work, they've got to turn up, they play, they get a little bit of money for it, and that is another massive factor in managing at this level, that the money that players request or ask for when you're trying to sign them can be ridiculous at times.
They certainly can be, and we've had this discussion quite a lot throughout the course of the time that we've been running the show. But I don't know. I don't want to kind of presume anything here, but I think it's a little bit different for Charnock, because you've got one of the smallest squads in the division, and the player retention that you've got there is kind of incredible, really. Apart from Fenton Davis, who was quite a noticeable departure earlier on in the season, you've actually managed to retain an awful lot of the squad over the last 2 or 3 seasons, and as well adding in sort of players like Gaz Pete in there as well. So it certainly is a heck of a player. So, do you have kind of any input on player retention, or do you? What's your buy-in for the players to stay with Charnock Richard?
It's certainly not money. No, we obviously, every club pays a little bit of money, but I think sometimes people from the outside looking in think that Charnock have a lot of money, and believe me, we really don't. We have good facilities. We have.
Yes, you do.
We try to have a decent pitch. We try to treat the players well. At some clubs, they're just the number. Some players, and they get the envelope at the end of the game, and that's it. But we try, and I know it's a bit of a cliche, but we're probably a little bit of a family. Yeah. And sometimes that can be our downfall on the pitch. We're not nasty enough at times, but. For since I've taken over, we've tried to be inclusive with people, treat them well, and give them sort of other things. If people have a bad injury, try and help them out financially with the physio side of it. The fans are brilliant with the players. They interact well with such a tight-knit club, and as I say, it's a good thing, but also it can be the downfall of the club sometimes, and of the team.
It can be. I think the other thing that I've noticed about Charnock is that where you are locationally, you're quite isolated in terms of the immediate teams around you that would sort of reasonably competition. I know you've got Exton Villa, which is probably one of the closest, but other than that, there isn't really any kind of other teams around you to challenge you. Now, with that in mind, does that kind of give you an advantage of being able to bring in players, who are good enough? Or can it be considered a bit of a difficulty in that you've got to ask players to come in from further out to try and strengthen your squad?
Yeah, I'd probably say the latter. Because you look at our squad, I think we've got quite a lot of lads from like the borders of Manchester, Bolton, places like that. So they are travelling. I think the furthest should probably have is Rochdale, as you mentioned, Gaz Pete. I think he's like Haslingden, so he's probably 40 minutes. Yeah. 40 minutes from us. We do have obviously Sven Bibby, who's in the village, so he's probably the one of a few that is a loyal footballer, as you don't find many of them these days.
Who's that, sorry?
Spencer Bibby.
Spencer Bibby, yeah.
Yeah, he's the lad who lives in the village, and like I say, you don't find many loyal as them these days. No. But yeah, I would say that as well, when you're talking about signing players and they say, well, how much are you offering? I'm travelling from such a place and it's this long. So that is a factor definitely in signing players and does make it difficult at times.
Yeah, well, talking about budgets, obviously you're talking about money there now. Did you find that, and I've certainly found it over my 2 periods as a chairman of a football club, that managers tend to sort of big up their budgets when they're talking to other managers. You get a false idea of actually how much they're actually paying the players, and sometimes that means that you've got to up the ante when you don't really need to. I just feel as though sometimes that it's quite unnecessary, that there should be a little bit more honesty between managers. First of all, do you find that happens a lot or not?
I'd sort of say a mixture, really. Sometimes you might speak to a manager and he says, "Oh, my budget's not great," and you're thinking, it's very good. You can tell with the players that are on that pitch and in that shirt that you're paying a lot of money. So sometimes it works the other way, where they try and play it down as if to make out they're doing a really good job on a very poor budget, where it shows where they are in the league and what they've got on the pitch, where that's not the case. But if anybody ever asks me, I don't give them a figure, which you wouldn't do anyway, but I just sort of laugh it off. Because like I said before, I think people think we have a lot of money as a club, and if people actually knew the ins and outs of how we generate our money and where the money comes from and things like that, they'd be very, very shocked. And that's where I touched on before in terms of the community club and how good the fans are. That sort of helps with the budget for the players as well, in terms of fans and community club and things like that.
That's probably what makes it more impressive, is the fact that, like I mentioned before, a lot of managers will say the same thing about Charnock, Richard, that you're playing a really good brand of football and obviously doing it at a very low cost.
Yeah, we are, and it is nice. It's nice to hear managers, like some managers do these videos after a game and say, "Oh, they're a good side, Charnock. We don't like coming to Charnock. It's a good point." We play nice football.
And they do. They all say it. Yeah, there's no doubt about it.
It is really nice to hear, but I'd rather be second in league and play rubbish football.
I get that. Yeah, that's
or at least get a happy medium. But yeah, it is nice to hear that people. Sometimes when you speak to players, they say, "Oh yeah, it is a little bit far for me, Charnock, but it's an unbelievable club. Thanks for the interest." And it is good to hear, but yeah.
Listen, you've not done so bad, have you? Over the last 10 years since you were promoted from the West Lancashire League, you've gained promotion in your first season to get to the Premier Division. The season before last, I think it was, you were narrowly beaten by Bury in the playoff semi-finals. So how far do you think the club could realistically go?
As I said to you before, as a management team and players, we want to get in the playoffs, or at least be challenging and in and around that. And since, like I said, we've done well in the 10 years we've been there, and since I've been doing it with I don't think we had playoffs in the first probably 3 or 4 years I did it. And we missed out on, I think they did a playoff, was it with someone down south in one of the seasons where they were relegated and you played in a playoff in second in our league. I think we missed out by a point. Yeah. So we come third, but that year we won the Macron Cup, and then when they introduced playoffs, like you said there, I think that was the year we played 6 games in 10 days or something, and we had to win every single one to get in playoffs, and we did. I think the Bury game was one step too far in that run.
We played you that season. I think Pascal Chimbonda was the manager, and you played in that non-league, the ground hopping weekend on the Sunday, and I had to race out in the morning to sign a player because we were short on players. And remember that? I think you battered us 7-1.
Yeah, it was me and the groundsman. We turned up and the pitch was underwater that day, and we said to the chairman, like, "We might have to call it off." He's like, we can't, and we was like literally sponging the pitch.
Oh no! Because there's over 600 people there that day, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Only?
Yeah.
That's a good turnout,
it was a good turnout, yeah.
And so for Mozzie Park, that's kind of amazing. But Mozzie Park has that atmosphere, doesn't it? I mean, we've been there once when we were there as neutrals
watching
last
Richard
season,
Brody.
watching Glossop North End play you last season, and it was a freezing cold middle of the week night, but it still had such like a bit of a cauldron atmosphere to it. It has a lot of charm about it. It's quite tight around the edges on all sides, so you feel a bit like an Evertonian. You feel that much closer to the action. Like, how important are the supporters on game day for you, Ryan?
Yeah, as I said before, they are good, our fans, and they're very positive. You look at some clubs and they're getting comments for managers to be sacked, this player to be gone, and but we're lucky in that respect. We don't have sort of that sort of fan base. They know what we're about. They cheer us on home and away. And we don't get hundreds and hundreds on. It's always nice to get like 250, 300 on, but we're generally around the 150, 160 mark. But it's the same people. They turn in week out. They spend the money over the gate. They support us, and they're always there at the end of the game to clap the lads in. And that's the good thing about Charnock, Richard. Definitely,
it's a massive thing about it.
Yeah.
How much? I mean, obviously, having been there for 8 years, have you got to know Charnock Richards as a whole community? I mean, assuming you're a local lad, so you know how well kind of the community integrates within the football club and vice versa.
Yeah, well, I actually do live in Charnock.
There you go then. Village
so
lad.
I can see the pitch from my bedroom window now. But I've lived here pretty much all my life. It is a massive part of me, and the football club itself, the clubhouse, is a massive part of the community. Even out of season, we're always in there having a drink, keeping the club going, putting money over the bar. But it is a great community, and it's good to be a part of.
And listen, you've got a pretty good CV. We talked about you've not done so badly. Under your stewardship, you've won the League Challenge Cup twice, I believe.
Is that the Macron Cup?
Macron Cup?
Yeah, the Macron Cup.
Yeah, which is known as the League Challenge Cup, isn't it, I think?
Yeah,
it isn't it? Have I got that wrong?
No.
The Macron Cup, and the
League Challenge Cup. So you've won that twice. Not bad on your CV. What's the future for Ryan as a manager? Do you look a little bit further ahead in terms of management and maybe one day managing at another club at higher level? What's the thinking in Ryan's sort of managerial mind?
I don't really think about managing another club, like you said. Charnock is sort of my club. I'd like to manage higher with Charnock, Richard, definitely. That is definitely the aim, but it's all down to resources and how far can we actually go as a club and the infrastructure within our club. If the time come where an opportunity arose in a higher league and it was too good to turn down, then that would something I'd have to seriously think about. But I'm trying it through and through as it stands at the moment, and I think most people know that maybe.
Do you equally accept that you are on the radar of other football clubs?
Sorry, do I think I'm on the radar?
No. Would you accept that you would be on the radar? I know, having spoken to other chairmen within the Northwest counties, and your name keeps cropping up all the time.
That, I suppose, it's good to hear. Obviously, that's great to hear. Maybe I don't get approached because they know of my background and what, like I say, like what Charnock is to me. But it wouldn't be out of the question to think about going higher. Absolutely not, because I'm one of them. I want to win every game. I know it's impossible to, but I'm a winner. I want to win every game, and when we don't, it hurts. But that's football. But yeah, it's good to hear that I'm possibly in conversations. Yeah, that's always nice.
Yeah. Listen, one's assuming, by the way, that there's not a great deal of In terms of your chairman, and there's no deep pockets there. To sort of elevate you into a much higher level. That's why I asked the question earlier on, how far do you think Charnock could go? You could equally see them in the Northern Premier League West, but beyond that, how difficult do you think it would be to elevate Charnock to a higher level than that?
No, yeah, I think if we did go up, probably that would probably be the ceiling of Charnock, Richard, unless someone would come in and would say, yeah, I'll throw some money at Charnock, Richard, which some clubs have, and that's great for them clubs. But also it can be in downfall if you've got one person putting a lot of money in and one day he wakes up and goes, I'm not doing it anymore. That's the downside to it. Well, we know as a club at Charnock we're quite a sustainable club, and if someone did pull a little bit of money, it's not a massive blow to the finances. But yeah, it'd be nice one day if someone come in and said, I'll throw a few £1,000 at it for you.
Okay. So talk to me about your relationship with the chairman, Sean. So how often are you in touch with him, and are you guys kind of on the same wavelength about your ambitions for the club, kind of day to day and season to season?
Yeah. I think he's a good chairman. Obviously, like, we've gone through some bad spells, and maybe other clubs might think, is it time for a change? But our chairman's very positive, and he knows, he's like, I know we'll get through it and we'll get the results, which we tend to do. And I think he does see us as where we are. We're competitive, probably top 10 Northwest Counties side, sustainably, which is fine. But as like I said before, as a manager, I want to be the best and get the best out of the lads and out of myself and our coaching staff to get us in them playoffs and compete to go up into the next level. And I think if we did go into that next level, he'd have no problems with that. But he's also quite a level-headed chairman as well, which is a good thing for us.
Well, it's good to have a sense of realism, isn't it, at that level?
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. Listen, who's impressed you in the Northwest Counties Premier Division?
It has to be Atherton LR.
Keep coming back to that.
When we seen who came up last year, we said as a management team, we said they'll do well. There's always a team that comes in and they always do well for some reason. And they've really snuck up on everybody. I don't think anybody's realised well. And I get on with Dave. He used to play for me in my first few seasons at Charnock. First team, he used to play for me. We get on really well. There's a lad there who used to play for me. We actually sent him there on loan, and he's never come back.
We didn't doubt him. To be honest with you, we always thought Atherton LR would do relatively well. But then I think there was that period, wasn't there, September, October, where they weren't winning. They weren't winning at all, and we thought, oh, crikey, things have gone backwards. But since that point, since that worst point, they've just come back out of it, and they. I can't. What kind of run are they on now?
They're unbeaten in 20 games now.
16 wins, 3 draws. It's amazing, isn't it?
That's insane.
Yeah, brilliant. We play them in a couple of weeks.
Oh, there's a run to try and end for you.
Yeah, hopefully.
I mean, I think this is probably a kind of point that I was thinking about, really, is that with Atherton LR kind of pushing for the playoffs and Exton Villa kind of having comfortably cleared any threat of relegation, do you feel like the gap between Northwest Counties Premier and Northwest Counties Division 1 is quite close, to the point where teams, either side would have a battle on their hands to be promoted or to avoid relegation in either division?
I'd say in the last few years, I think that gap has been bridged a little bit. I think a few years before, I think it was massive. I think teams that were coming in, just they weren't competing as well as the teams that are coming in now. But I think with LR, they don't have big name players, and that's absolutely no disrespect to the lads, they've got a very, very good group of lads who buy in and believe what Dave and LR are trying to do. And I think sometimes that is better than having someone on £250 a week, having lads that want to play for the manager and want to play for the club. And I think Exton are very, very similar. They've got pretty much a very, very similar squad to what got them promoted, and they've gone, no, we're sticking with them players to keep us in the Premier League, and that's what they've done. So fair play to both teams.
Fair play to both. Just moving it away from football then, Ryan, how do you... And it's probably a question that you think of and think, what a stupid question, but how do you relax and switch off kind of away from football?
He
doesn't. He doesn't.
No, probably watch football.
There it is.
Just get home and watch match of the day or whatever.
Who do you support apart from your own team then?
I'm a Wigan Athletic fan.
Fair enough. He sticks local. Fair play to him. All right.
Do you go and watch him as often as you can, or?
No, I don't. To be honest, when years and years ago I used to watch him home and away when we were in Division 2 and we were getting promoted, and I watched him in the Prem for a few years. But since being involved with the management side, it's hard to go and watch. And then when they're on a Tuesday and we have a game, we don't have a game on a Tuesday. You just want to sit at home and chill out.
Yeah, I suppose you do.
I'm taking you're married with children, are you?
Yeah, I've got a missus and 2 kids. Yeah.
So that keeps you busy with it away from football as well.
Yeah, my lad plays for Charnock as well, so he might be the next generation coming through.
He's Project Mbappe, isn't he?
How old is he?
He's 10, so he's under 11s this year.
Right.
Centre forward as well, though.
No, he's more of a right back, so a bit different to his dad.
So listen, you're just closing this interview up a little bit, but who's gonna win the Premier Division this season? Northwest Counties.
I think it'll be Wythenshawe. I know they hit a bit of a rocky patch. I think it was after beating us 3-0 at their place. I think they hit a bit of a rocky patch. A few draws, couple of losses, but they're a good side. A very good side. They've got some very good experienced players from within the Northwest Counties, within the league above, and I think their names on that number 1 spot this season.
That's fair.
Yeah. And who shocked you out of the teams apart from Everton and LR? Who's done far better than you anticipated?
Just trying to think of who's in what positions here.
Because we expected the likes of Chariton to do far better. I know they're still in the mix there, but we expected them to do far better than they did. We expected Padium at the beginning of the season. Padium looked like they were going to run away with it.
Strong, and then they're sort of down in 5th at the minute, and they're sort of
I think with Chariton, I think with the players that they were signing in pre-season, I thought, wow, they're going to be real contenders. And like you just said there, they're still in the mix, but they had a bit of a lull, and then they've just kicked on again and done really well. So
Yeah, they've scored 117 goals, Chariton, haven't they? but I think Lewis Bairn has probably scored half of them, hasn't he?
Yes, I was just going to say, they have one player that scored half.
And then there's Benito Lowe as well. He's not shy in front of goal either.
No, Benito. He's experienced at his level. Very good player. He was quality against us the other week.
And then there's 2 guys called Jordan Dar and Nathan Nikias who are just hanging around there. I wonder who they play for at this point. Unbelievable.
We just need other areas of the pitch contributing, and then we might be all right, and then maybe stop conceding a few. But we'll address that in close season.
I'd say there's only 3 teams in the league that have scored more than you guys. So, like you say, if you plug in that defence, sky's the absolute limit for you.
So you've got South Liverpool on Saturday.
Yeah, South Liverpool at home. I think we've 5 left, 3 at home, 2 away. Mm-hmm.
How did you get on against them in the away game?
We lost 3-0. 3-0
So you'll be looking for an improvement in this one.
Looking for revenge on that one.
Yeah, I think at the time, South Liverpool, they were doing really well. They were up there, but they seem to have tailed off a little bit, and so hopefully we can get a win on Saturday.
Listen, it's been great speaking to you. All the best at the weekend and for the rest of the season. You're doing a fabulous job there. Like I say, you talked about a lot with fellow chairmen in the Northwest, not just in the Northwest counties, but in the Northwest in general. So best of luck in the future and good luck on Saturday.
Cheers, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Ryan. Take care, mate.
Take care.
Bye now.
Cheers. Bye now. Hello and welcome to the third and final part of the Speaking Frankly football show, and thanks once again to Ryan Donnellan, the Charnock Richard manager. Very interesting insight into a very young manager's start out, and it's ridiculous saying start out. He's been at the club as a first team manager for the last 8 years,
and he's been at the football club as a player for an awful lot longer than that, since he was a junior. So he spent so much of his life at Charnock Richard, playing, coaching, managing. Now it's only a matter of time before he becomes the chairman.
I'm saying 8 years. He's not been 8 years manager, has he?
Yes, he has.
8 years?
Yeah, he's done 8 years so far. He was I think he was a coach for. I think he was a coach under the last one, and then he stepped up and took the role for.
So 2 cups and a playoff semi-final against Berry. Not bad, is it?
That's really very good.
Really good on his CV.
Probably one of the most loyal managers you've ever seen, because of how long he's actually been there as a manager and a player. Unbelievable. So we wish him all the very best, not least at the game against South Liverpool at the weekend, but for the remainder of the season as well. And thanks ever so much again, Ryan.
Yeah, so what do we normally do in part 3? We do a Northwest Counties roundup and our usual expert analysis. Where do we start though? We start with Skelmersdale United, or do we do the predictions first? I can't remember which way around we do it.
We tend to do the fixtures and predictions first.
Let's do that then. Let's go to that. So
alrighty,
we've got a fair few fixtures to go through this week. Listen, I'm going to have to get back to you on the results. The results from a fortnight ago, because
same here.
I've been too busy since I got back, and hey ho, listen, let's move on. Mm-hmm. So let's look at tonight's fixture in the First Division South. Folymere versus Wolverhampton Casuals.
Probably about an hour of the way through already. I will say Wolverhampton Casuals on this one.
Right. Do you know that they're winning already? Is that why you're
not
predicting it on that basis? No. Okay, listen, I'm going to go for Folymere.
Fine.
Right, so the Premier Division on Saturday, a nice big full fixture list in the Premier Division. AFC Liverpool versus West Didsbury and Chorlton.
West Didsbury and Chorlton for me.
Yeah, listen, I'm going to go for AFC Liverpool.
Mm-hmm.
Bearscough versus Barnoldswick Town. I think it's really important for Bearscough to get back to winning ways, so I'm going to give them the nod there.
Yeah.
This is a huge fixture. Chadderton versus Atherton LR.
Yeah, so both of these teams have all but secured their places within the playoffs, but I think it sort of shows who has the fight and the might to take on their giant rivals when it comes to the playoffs, because this could actually be, if the table stays the way that it is now, this game will be a dress rehearsal for the playoff semi-finals to come, because Chadderton are in 3rd, Atherton LR are in 4th.
And to give some greater context, so in the previous fixture at Atherton, Chadderton managed to secure a 1-0 win.
Right, so it was a very, very tight game.
Yeah.
Whereas this one is being played on Chadderton's home turf, plastic pitch, majority of fans. Everything about them says that they could win this one. But Chadderton of late, I don't want to say that they've been drawing blanks, because they haven't, but something has just felt a little bit more off about them in the last couple of games than what it has done in times gone by. And I don't know whether that's just my feeling on it, or whether there's actually something within it to kind of back that up. I don't know, that sounds a bit daft in itself.
Yeah, well, it is really, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 in the last 13 games, they're undefeated. They've drawn 2 games and the most recent game, of course, they lost to Ramsbottom, which is no disgrace.
Well, no, but I don't think I was expecting that one. I'm not entirely sure that you were. All right, maybe I've got... Yeah, just...
It's a difficult one, isn't it? Because I know what you mean.
It's not the usual hammerings that we were thinking. You know, the 2 against Abbey Hay in the draw.
Yeah, not a win against Exton Villa.
1-0 against FC Isle of Man. 3-1 against Barnoldswick Town. Lost 2-1 to Ramy. I am going to say a draw here. I really am. I
think a draw will be a good result for both.
I
don't think either of them are going to win the league now.
No, I don't. But if you are either of them, you want you want the best opportunity for the playoffs, which means being second. It then means playing fifth. At this point, that could be any one of either Padiham, Earlham, or even Prestwich Hayes. They're not out of the equation completely.
Yeah, listen, I'm going to go for the draw as well because I think that's the most natural one. You know, high scoring Chadderton, low concessions in the Atherton LR defence.
Yeah,
not scoring loads of goals.
I think it could be one. I think
we say so.
Yeah, it could be a 0-0 or a 1-1. I think.
Yeah, 0-0, 1-1. But listen, either way, it could be a 1-0 win for either team. I don't think it's going to be a big scoring game. No, I don't. That said, it'll probably be 5-4.
Can you imagine?
Anyway, so Charnock Richard versus South Liverpool. Charnock Richard.
Yeah.
Cheadletown versus Wythenshawe.
Going
for Wythenshawe as well. Glossop North End versus Exton Villa. Going to go for Glossop.
So am I.
Earlham Longridge. Going to go for Earlham. Litherland versus Abbey Hay. Interesting one. I think it sounds like a draw to me. So I'm going to go for the draw. Padiham versus Stockport Town. Padiham might just sneak that one.
So where is Stockport Town? They're 11th. Yeah, I think Padiham again will sneak it, as you say.
Pilks versus Ramsbottom.
Yeah,
going for Ramsbottom. Prestwich Hayes versus FC St Helens.
I'm saying Prestwich Hayes here. They're 7th.
Yeah, I'm going for
I didn't see this.
So FC Isle of Man versus City of Liverpool, if they get there.
Yeah, it's the Battle of the Folds. FC Isle of Man. Sorry, was that mean?
That was a bit mean.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah. So you're going for FC Isle of Man, so mate?
Yes.
Yeah. So Division 1 North, Ashton Athletic versus Fulwood Amateurs.
Draw.
I'm going for Fulwood.
All right.
Ashton Town versus Holger Old Boys. I'm going for Holger Old Boys.
So am I, actually.
Bacup Borough versus AFC Blackpool.
Bacup Borough.
Yeah, it's just about there. Colne versus Daisy Hill. I think that'll be a draw. McGull versus Garstang.
McGull
I think
have to win this.
McGull will win that one. MSB Walton versus Darwin. MSB
Walton.
Just Squiresgate versus Droylsden. Not easy, but I'll go for Droylsden.
I'm going to say Droylsden as well.
Yeah. Steeton versus Main Road. Steeton. Thornton Cleveland's versus Nelson.
Draw.
I'm going for Nelson. Right. Division 1 South Asheville versus Market Drayton.
Asheville.
I go for Asheville as well. Foley-Mere versus Camlear. Foley-Mere.
Draw.
New Mills versus Barnton. I'm going for New Mills. Runcorn Town.
Yeah,
versus Cheadle. Listen, it doesn't matter. It could be versus Liverpool. They'd still win that one.
God. And they'll get promoted with that one.
What's that?
They'll get promoted with that one.
Yeah, most definitely. One
will do
a draw will do them.
Exactly.
So listen, what a great place to pick up the trophy as well. So I would assume that one of the delegates from the northwest counties will be
in attendance with the little cup.
Yeah, they'll be in that area there, ready to pounce on Runcorn to give them the title. Sandbach United versus Eccleshall.
This is massive in the context of the playoffs. Isn't it? Sandbach have to win this one, but I think it will be Eccleshall.
Yeah, Shawbury United versus Stockport Georgians.
This is every opportunity for them to.
Still don't think Matty Boswell's quite got his way of playing there yet.
No, he hasn't.
Over to them,
and that's disappointing, but he'll get there. I have no doubt he'll get there.
Stafford Town versus Wolves Casual. Go for Stafford Town. Telford Town versus Alcyon. Go for Telford Town. This is what I'm saying about them still being in contention. If they win that one and a few results go their way above them, then they're back in it.
Yeah.
So Monday, Division 1 North, Daisy Hill versus Ashton Town. I am going for Daisy Hill. AFC Liverpool, so Premier Division on Tuesday, AFC Liverpool versus Exton Villa for AFC Liverpool.
So am I.
I don't think it will be an easy win for them. Chadderton versus Isle of Man. I'm going for Chadderton. City of Liverpool versus Stockport Town. FC St Helens versus Atherton LR. I think they could come unstuck. The one team that would probably capable of pulling off a shock there at the moment might be FC St Helens, but I'm still going with Atherton LR.
FC St Helens got a decent attack now. An Everton LR old boy, Tom Lawless, and they just signed Darren Brannigan from Pilks, and he scored on his debut. So, a couple of bits going for FC St Helens, but I think LR will win this one.
Yeah, most definitely. Longridge versus Perham, going for Perham. Withenshaw versus Litherland Remaker.
Man,
I think it's Withenshaw. I think it's Withenshaw, but if anybody's going to pull off a shock result that day, it could
Litherland.
Could be them. But I think it's just a game too soon for them in their recovery.
I'm thinking about it.
Well, this could be a...
Do you know what? No, I am going to say a home win for Withenshaw, but if I'm wrong in this one, I will be so happy, because I'm... Honest to God, Steve Scott is like a cult hero right now, just because of how well he's doing with this team. They were gone. Christmas, they were gone. Now they're off the bottom of the table. And they could even be out of the bottom two in about 2 or 3 weeks' time.
Well, we need to get him on the show and see what magic he possesses. So, Division 1 North on Tuesday, Droylsden versus Garstang. Droylsden. Holker Old Boys versus Cone. Holker Old Boys. So, Tuesday in Division 1, South Foley-Mare versus Cheadle Heath Nomads. Go for Foley-Mare.
Draw.
Runcorn Town versus Alsager once again at home. Listen, if they don't pick it up on Saturday, they're definitely going to pick it up on Tuesday.
They'll pick it up on Saturday.
Yeah, I think they'll pick it up both times.
Yeah, they will.
Right, so Wolverhampton Casuals versus Shawbury United.
Casuals.
I think that'll be a draw. Allscott Heath versus Camel Heads. Going for Allscott Heath. So the West Riding Cup semi-final at the Silent Night Stadium. Barnoldswick Town versus Tadcaster Albion.
Tadcaster Albion, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'll go along with that as well. Macron Cup quarterfinals, that replayed game. West Didsbury Chilton versus Thornton Cleveland. I still think West Didsbury will win.
Yeah, it really depends.
Nothing to play in the league, really.
No, not anymore, unfortunately. But I think that's West Didsbury's and Chilton's.
Yeah. So the First Division North, Wednesday, 1st of April. It's no April's Fool. Nelson versus Main Road.
Don't be a fool. Just go for Nelson.
Yeah, don't be a fool. Go for Nelson. Spot on. Wednesday, the 1st of April. Listen, I think we'll know more about
who's going to win it.
Win it by the end of this week.
I think you probably will be right.
Yeah. So Telford versus Eccleshall. Yeah, so that rounds up the predictions for Saturday and the week ahead. Good luck to everybody as we try to be as impartial as we can. We do have our favourites, but then by the time we've interviewed someone,
we're just rooting for them a little bit more.
Yeah, we So listen,
we do it every time.
The way to success as a football club in the Northwest Counties is to come on as a guest on the show, because we're rooting for you then every week.
Unless you're Glenn Hurst, who lost nearly every game after he'd been interviewed by us.
I know, but listen, not through the lack of trying, is it?
No.
It's difficult to be too...
do you know what, honestly?
Critical. It's a tough job, isn't it?
It is a horrible job.
You know, Ian inherited a club that did have its problems. Probably didn't have as many problems as they thought it had. The fact that the manager left on the day when they won didn't make any sense at all, did it? But you don't know what goes on behind the scenes.
Well, no, but then he was back in action a couple of months later at Cheadle.
Yeah, after giving the impression that you needed time away.
He was just done, yeah. Bizarre.
He did a Cleggy.
He did do a Cleggy.
Yeah. Anyway, listen, so we move on to
Skelmersdale
United Football Club. And,
so we've been away for a couple of weeks, so that means there are 2 games that we need to discuss, one of which we won, one of which we lost. So we'll start with the one that we lost, first of all, get the bad news out of the way. So that was a cup game against Liverpool Nalgo at the
Alder Lane
Sports Facility, and we were beaten 4-0. Not an easy game. We know Nalgo have a particular way of playing. We were beaten.
The scoreline did flatter them a little bit, to be fair.
I think you might be right. I think they took the lead after 45 seconds, which was really, really unhealthy for us. Put us on the back foot straight from the off. I think collectively we didn't have our best game either, which again I think is where the scoreline flattered us. I don't think we really tested the goalkeeper until the second half.
We struggled with a couple of injuries as well, didn't we?
There were a couple of injuries that were kind of in motion, but we did have, Joe Owens came off within 10 minutes of going on, which was really unfortunate because he'd been such a trooper for us in the last handful of games. So it was gutting to see him go. And Zach Thomas also went off with an injury, which was a bit more difficult. But even so, they just looked like Nalga just looked like they were in control for a lot of this game.
I've seen it slightly different. I think passages of play where Skem were a far better, technically fitter, stronger team in passages of play. I think our problem has always been throughout the season is concentration levels, grafting in areas when there was big open spaces, they were getting through the channels, and we were allowing it. We weren't dictating the game. And in order to sort of give the oppositional point, is that when we won on Saturday, we did exactly what we should have done at Nalgo. We fought for everything.
We did. We were doing a lot of running.
We were more tactically aware.
Yeah.
We closed down. We harried. It wasn't an easy game on Saturday by any stretch of the imagination.
Against Liver Academy.
We had to graft. We seriously had to graft in order to win that game. It was no rollover by Liver by any stretch of the imagination. No. We really had to graft for it. But that was the difference, I think. And I think in terms of personnel, if we'd have had the same team that we had on Saturday playing the previous week, I don't think Nalgo wins it. I don't think Nalgo are a particularly great football team. No disrespect to them in that sense, but I don't think they're one of the greatest teams in the Liverpool County Premier League that we've encountered.
No,
they're one of those teams that have just got that sort of
five-a-side capability.
Yeah, but they've got that sort of the voodoo sort of, is it voodoo spell on us. They managed to beat us by
bogey team. Yeah,
a bit of a bogey team really. Because we played them 3 times now, is it?
No, twice. We've got them in 2 weeks' time.
Oh, we got them again, haven't we?
Yes.
We got them again.
Exactly.
So, we lost by a similar scoreline, didn't we?
We lost 4-1 last time.
4-1.
And then 4-0, yeah.
Yeah, but I never felt as though they were a team that were overplaying us. They were just maybe a little bit more direct than us. We tried to play football on a really, really poor surface. I mean, it was awful surface.
It wasn't great. No, it wasn't great. It was freezing cold. The pitch was quite hard.
Listen, I'll go even one stage better. Forget the personnel that were playing. Even last week, I think you put that team on a plastic pitch. You played that game. If that game had been played on plastic, we'd have won it. I don't even think some of the players don't even think we were wearing the right boots. But that's an observation.
No, maybe. I don't know. I think for me, Nalgo are a team that can play really well amongst small channels. They move channels sort of width-wise, so they're actually spreading the play over 6 or 7 passes rather than 3 or 4.
Very one-dimensional.
They are quite one-dimensional, but they made us run for the ball a lot. And we are tactically, we're much fitter than they are, but they were sort of a bigger team. They had a much more willing runners against our defence, who were at times a bit static.
Certainly were in the first minute.
Jesus, yeah, exactly. 53
But I think sometimes you can win and lose a game in that first minute, can't you?
Yeah, of course you can. Yeah, and we'd immediately put ourselves on the back foot, and all of a sudden we've got a mountain to climb before we've even kicked the ball. Yeah. I think the fact that we were sort of quite good technically in sort of certain areas of the middle of the park. But again, I think the concentration levels just weren't there. There were passes that just kept getting misplaced. The link-in play between the midfield and the attack just wasn't there. And, they have a big team. They are tall. A lot of their players are sort of 5'11" plus, whereas we can't really boast that. A lot of our players are kind of 5'10" and shorter. We have to try and adapt for that in other ways, and it wasn't there against Nalgo, who were kind of physically better than we were, and put that to use. I think there were areas again where there were lapses in concentration that put us to the sword, if you like. And I think Nalgo were worthy of a win, but I think we were quite fortunate. It was a cup game, so I want to take the points over a progression in the cup. But anyway,
so I think I've said it on a few occasions, and certainly said it to the management team and staff, that once we get to a position where we start to win more games than we lose, it will balance. We'll know that we've made an improvement. So, albeit a defeat, sandwiched in between two wins, we've had back-to-back victories in the league, which is a first for us in the season. So, the last 5 games we've won 3, lost 2. So there's a big improvement.
Yeah,
and we're nowhere near the finished article.
No.
And the difficulty always is in this league is that the varying sort of kick-off times as well don't always help with people that play work in the morning,
shift patterns
and what have you. So that's not helped, and that's obviously not scared him off, but obviously with Fitzy deciding to string his sort of put his boots up until the end of the season at least.
He's done.
Yeah, the difficulty for getting off from work and training as well. It all played a big part in him,
making
hanging
his
boots up.
Yeah, I can understand that one as well. He's got a lot of commitments to make before football plays a part, and he was such a rock for us at the start of the season. His experience gave us plenty, and we were glad for him. We do hope to see him back when his circumstances.
Well, he certainly, by the sounds of it, he'll be back in training again for next season. I don't think that's the last we've seen of him.
Not a boy.
The other aspects of it, like not having a sort of regular sort of skeleton in the team. So the likes of Span rather, Darren Askew and
Alex
Davis, we miss them a lot when they're sort of in and out, weaving in and out of the team. That doesn't help for consistency. But listen, moving on to Saturday's victory.
It's at home. More pleasant, yes.
There was a decent crowd on there. I don't know the specific numbers, but it was a nice sunny day.
It was a glorious day, actually, warm and sunny. And we got off to the perfect start. We were 1-0 up after 9 minutes. Brandon Carrington's 6th goal of the season, so he's now our top scorer. And really well worked goal it was as well. Jay Tyra puts it off on the breakaway, finds Brandon in the middle of the park, loads of space, curls one into.
Where did it start?
At the defence.
So Jake Toppin, right back. Yeah. He's defended the ball, and I think it was volleyed. So it was a volleyed clearance directly to Jay Tyra, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was. And Jay, on the right wing, cuts in on his left boot, and bear in mind he's about 80 yards away from their goal at this point, spreads a absolutely perfect ball.
And a great finish.
Yeah, to Brandon. Brandon's got plenty of room to run into. Bends one into the top bins, and we're 1-0 up after 10 minutes. We do ride our luck a little bit, though. I think they forced a decent save out of Joe. They hit the base of the post, and I think I think they had a low cross come in, and the striker fluffed his lines and didn't actually make contact with the ball.
That was very early on before we'd even scored.
There we go. All right then. So there were moments where we did ride our luck.
But so did they, because we could have scored more than 4 in the end. Probably could have scored another 2 or 3.
Yeah, I think Joe Turner probably could have had one in the first half, just misdirected his header. But then, about an hour, I
think Gallows had an opportunity, has he? Not many opportunities, but the one opportunity he had, it went wide.
Yeah, I think it did, yeah. He's getting closer.
Yeah.
And then early on in the second half, again, we sort of have to ride out a little bit of pressure from them. They start to build a bit more, and then about the 70th odd minute, I think Jay scores his first goal since he's come back to us. It was a gorgeous ball by Zach over the top, and Jay sort of ghosted in from the right hand side, taking it on the chest, and then lobbed it over the keeper for 2-0. They get one back sort of within 60 seconds, but then Jay scores again. He sort of dodged in and out of a couple of challenges, slipped the ball past the goalkeeper at the near post again, just cutting in from the right wing onto his left foot. He's done fabulously well. And then
the goal of the game.
The goal of the game absolutely was the fourth one, and it was so much
touch.
A very deft touch, but I think 70% of that goal is down to Rhys Carrington. his run, his persistence.
Yeah, but you've got to finish it off then.
Oh God, yeah, we've got to finish it off.
And in Sid, we've got a fox in the box there, haven't we? Without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah, I think
he's 16.
Yeah, is he 16 or 17?
I think he's still 16.
Jeez. But yeah, his 4th goal of the season, and it's...
5 if you include his penalty in the shootout.
Bit optimistic, that, mate.
Yeah, but he did it.
He did do it on his debut as well. That was.
He's not missed.
Oh, no, he's not, no. Anyway, yeah. Reese's low cross in from the left-hand side and Sid has got in front of the defender and just the slightest cushion off his left boot. And it's
was it his left? I thought it was off his right, the side of his right foot. But I can't remember now. But it was just such a deft touch, and there was only one place he could put it.
Yeah, it was right tight into the corner by the post.
Most strikers, I mean, and even more experienced strikers, the tendency is
to take a touch.
Either take a touch. I think he was too close to the goalkeeper to do that, but it's probably. 9 times out of maybe a bit dramatic there. Maybe 7 times out of 10. You you're hitting the goalkeeper.
Yeah,
the ball goes to the goalkeeper, but he's gone for the only area. He's cut in all honesty, the keeper's cut off the angle.
Yeah,
to a large degree.
The keeper's done everything right.
There's only one place that can go,
which is right by the base of the post.
Yeah, and it's such a deft touch that it has to have that precise touch. It can't be blasted.
No.
It's just got to be scythed in, if that's the right word. And it was, and it was spectacular goal.
Terrific.
But he scored a couple more like that before as well. That seems to be his forte.
Yeah,
the fox in the box.
Just within that 12 yards, he's absolutely lethal. He knows exactly where the goal is and what he's doing. And he could have had a couple more, but he had to work to kind of create those opportunities as well.
Gary Lineker of football, though, isn't he? In terms of. You don't see him for large parts of the game, and then all of a sudden he comes up with a.
I think there are areas where he's
off the ball.
He works.
Off the ball, he works.
Yeah, exactly. He works. He runs. He pressures. Yeah, but even his first opportunity, he took the ball on his chest. He turned. He ran up ran at a defender and just tried to curl the ball around him. Didn't go in, but it's just an indication.
I don't think that's his forte, though.
It's not his forte, but he's working towards that. It's not that he's not comfortable going for goal from that distance. But his 4th goal of the season, all of them have come against Liver.
the reason I mentioned Gary Lineker is because Gary Lineker didn't score whoppers, did he?
No.
You don't have to, do you, to be a fantastic goal scorer?
No, and I think that's the meat of a fantastic goal scorer is carving out the chances just within the box, crowded. You're not much sight of goal, but you just
his first goal at the MTA was pretty much similar, wasn't it?
Well, that was his first goal at the MTA.
No, he scored one, didn't he?
No. No, all of them have come against Liver, and they were both away from home.
Right, I'm sure he scored one at the MTA before.
Not that
he missed one, didn't he?
He missed one.
No, he missed, and he only just missed it by centimetres rather than inches.
Oh, okay.
I thought he'd scored a goal at home. Anyway,
well, he has now.
Yeah,
smashing little touch, and that sort of put the finishing article on a very, very good afternoon for Sky.
It's got to be really good for his confidence as well.
I think so. Even if he's still coming off the bench and learning the game at adult level, he's absolutely fearless about it, and I think he's got a serious future at top level non-league.
Yeah. So listen, moving back onto the
off the pitch stuff, the politics
stuff. Yeah, the politics. So listen, first of all, it's out in the public domain anyway. We're going back to Bearscough.
We certainly are. A move that's been sort of widely positive feedback from.
Yeah, I think one or two people probably turned around and said she never have left.
It's not scam. Shut up.
Yeah, it's still not scam, but it's getting back closer.
It is.
The intention is to try and rebuild a bit of the fan base. We feel as though we're in a more positive position in terms of structure on the football side of things as well. So come next season, we feel as though we've got to that position now where we're going to be winning more that we're going to lose, and hopefully we're going to make a good stab at the playoffs next season. And it will be helpful to rebuild that fan base, and people that have seen the positive side of what's going on at Scam at the moment will come back and listen. We know we're not going to get significant numbers, but if we hit the ground running next season, we're winning. I think a lot of doubting Thomases will walk back in and watch again at a level of football which, to be fair, if anybody doubts, how difficult it is to play at that level, then just come and watch the football. I think you've said it a few times before. There's not a great deal of difference between the top teams in the Liverpool County Premier. They could ply their trade in the North West Counties Division 1 North.
They'd be fine. Yeah,
they'd be fine. There's no doubt
I
about
honestly believe so. Yeah, it's just
particularly the Grenadier and teams
East
like
Villarreal. Yeah, but two of the most impressive teams I've seen. They could do it if they wanted to. It's just they're a victim of their surroundings, unfortunately.
And listen, proof historically is that Lower Breck and MSP Walton have, even South Liverpool have come through that system as well.
Charlie Richard as well through the Lancashires,
through the West Lancashire League.
Yeah, exactly.
So we know that they can, once they get into that higher division, that they can be quite competitive.
Yeah, and they can, and we believe that as well. We're already looking at next season. We've got a couple of players signed on, players who have experience within the Northwest counties as well. They'll be coming in, training with us already, and making that move across to wear the blue of Scam. Just a note to supporters: if you're wanting to come to a game at Burscough, there is a bus from the town centre, and it drops you off at the Tesco, where the ground is just behind. It takes about half an hour on the bus to get you there, and you'll be there with about 45 minutes to go before kick-off.
But once again, we obviously reiterate what we've said in the past, that contact anybody at the football club that is already travelling up there, and if there's space in the car, we're more than happy to give you a lift. Yes. And of course you can join the brunch club as well and
have some
food before a game, which is always helpful,
always handy. Yeah, so we're looking forward to next season already. And
there's a few positive things going on behind the scenes. A lot of things were sort of hinted at in the previous show, in the interview that you conducted with me, very much a Frost style.
Frost Nixon style. One which was also quite well received. So if you've
it was exceptionally well received.
If you've messaged me or Frank, we really appreciate what your words are. Thank you
we got a lot of positive feedback. I certainly did. I got a lot of messages, and what people said was that, listen, people had an opportunity to either respond to me in terms of textual response. They didn't like that. It didn't work for them. People were invited to the Meet the Club. They didn't turn up. One person did and was quite critical, but still hasn't got it. Doesn't understand what we're doing, even after a long conversation with him. But I think the one thing that the interview did do was it was better to answer it in spoken form than it was to
put it in words.
And those people that didn't turn up had no choice, and we know by the listening figures, which were absolutely huge. And what I would say to you is that if as many people supported Clay Brow and Skelmersdale United Football Club, there's enough people during that listening over the last week to make us help us perform in the National League. never mind anywhere, because we had thousands of listeners. Yeah, 2.5 the last time. The last time and for something that's localised, and there was no special guest. It was just stripped bare. It was just you and I. There was no pre-show or any
of that
laughing or joking before it. It was really serious content, and I think it was very well received. Certainly, there's been very little criticism that I've seen. Listen, there might be a little bit more rumbling of that now that the West Lancashire District Borough Council has now declared that JMO have released more funds to improve the JMO, the facilities there, and I know people are jumping on the bandwagon and saying that Clay Brow will benefit from this, and it's huge for them because it will put them in line for North West Counties football with their 3-year plan to get into the northwest counties. So it makes everything look hunky-dory for them. But listen, we're more interested in our plan. We continue, we're going to focus with that plan. And hopefully, Mark Kitts, who's the Managing Director of Toad Valley Developments, will come on in the next few weeks and explain the relationship between us and them.
All right.
And maybe when people understand that a little bit more, they'll have a little bit more determination, a little bit more confidence about what we're trying to achieve at SCEM. And it's always been about protecting the legacy. It's not about personalities. I've said it before. People want to come and watch SCEM. They come and watch SCEM. They don't come to support me. They come to support SCEM United Football Club. That's the most important thing in SCEM.
The lads on the pitch.
Yeah.
And the name.
Skelmersdale Football Club, Skelmersdale United Football Club, is the second oldest institution in the town. It's 145 years of age, and it's had many custodians who've had varying rates of success or failure. But one thing that is guaranteed, that everybody that's worked on behalf of Schem United Football Club at some stage has had to put an awful lot of work and effort into doing so. We don't always get things right. But what we want to make sure is that Skelmersdale family has a sustainable future. And this is the only way to do it, because we realise that we're at a natural level. We know where our natural level is. We've said this before. When we won the Northern Premier League West or North, whatever it was called at the time, and we made the step up, our crowds went down. So whilst people are critical of people that are in governance and running a football club, if you don't support a football club,
how's it going to get better?
It's not going to get better. We don't have any rich oligarch
from Russia.
Yeah, we don't have any billionaires that are lined with pockets of gold, and I don't even think I'd be happy supporting a football club that was supported by one person that eventually, and I think Ryan mentioned it, didn't he, in his interview, that, if you put all that money in, then the minute they
draw it all out, you sort of go down the stairs.
You could have a realistic, sustainable future.
Yeah,
and everybody's got to go. Everybody's got to fall in line with that. But this idea, this sort of impression that people have, SCEM should be this, SCEM should be that. SCEM's where it is because it's never had the infrastructure.
No.
It's never been prepared. It's probably in its best position ever now because it's got a little bit of money in the bank. It's not coming to the end of the season and thinking, wish we'd
how are we going to manage?
Yeah, wish we'd had a better run in the FA Cup or the FA Vars, because we weren't in either. We've not been in one for 2 years. We've not been in the Vars for a season. So there's no way the cup games that we play in the Liverpool County Prem, you don't get any money out of them. No. You've got to.
Bit of an opportunity at silverware, and that's about it, really.
You've got to earn your money through sponsorship or. The benevolence of others. Gate revenue is the most important thing. That people can help Schem United Football Club next season when we move back to Bearscough. Those that come through the gate, the more that come through the gate, the more ambitious we can be.
Yep.
But with a sense of realism, we don't want to be getting ahead of ourselves.
We're not blowing the funds.
That's why I like what's going on at Charnock, Richard.
Yeah, they're not trying to be self-sustaining.
They're not sprinting ahead and seeing themselves way above the station, because they know that the fall will be heavier than the success.
Yes, it will. Yeah.
And we look at Lower Breck now, and that it could be. I'm not saying it is, suggesting it is for 1 minute, but that fall could be mightier than the success they've had. It's certainly been the case for City of Liverpool.
Yes, it certainly has. I mean, they were playoffs for the Northern. They were playoffs in the Northern Premier League West 2 years ago, was it? When they lost to Buchel?
Yeah.
Amazing.
It was Prescott, wasn't it?
Is it Prescott? Pardon.
Prescott got the promotion.
Jeez.
City of Liverpool fell short.
Yeah.
And I think there was there was a huge crowd, wasn't there, at Prescott?
Yeah, there will have been. Yeah, but that was Northern Premier League Premier opportunity, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So which was step 3?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Well, step.
Maybe step 4.
2, 3. Step 3.
It is step 3. Yeah.
Step 3. Step 4 now.
And
step 5 now.
And they're at step 5, looking almost certain to head into step 6. The fall is always bigger than the rise.
Yeah.
Unbelievable, isn't it?
So it does everything that we've talked about in this show makes an awful lot of sense.
And so much of it is about sustainability and protecting.
Well, who did we speak to the other week? The chairman. Speak to that many people, I forget.
We spoke to the vice chair of Telford.
Vice chair of Telford, yeah. I mean, listen, slightly different scenario there. It's a little bit more like it has a feel of a hashtag, doesn't it?
A little bit.
You know, not wanting to you get the impression that it was a season too soon for them to get promoted.
Yeah.
But that's not the way they're selling it. They're saying it was
another way.
It was another way. But listen, I think there's a sense of realism. I think for argument's sake now, if we got a back door back into the Northwest Counties, I don't think we're quite... Not that we're not prepared, but I just think it would be a season too soon.
We'd have to do a hell of a lot of work and a lot of bridging of gaps to try and make us sustainable within that division.
We'd take it.
Oh, God, yeah, I think we'd take it.
We'd take it. There's no doubt about we'd take it.
We draw in.
But we'd have to do what we're doing now, and we'd have to be realistic.
We'd
and
have
that
to
would
do it
mean
twice as fast.
Yeah, I mean the only good thing about if we got promoted through some sort of backdoor scenario at the end of this season is that if the leagues get expanded from 17 to 24 at step 6, then there'd be no relegation at the end of the next season, you would imagine, because they would have to make the numbers up in that central league.
And that almost certainly would mean passageway for eligible teams into the Northwest Counties from the amateur level who had the structure to be able to do it. And for Liverpool counties, that would be us and Halewood Apollo.
Yeah.
We could absolutely do it. We
still don't know what's going to happen with Widnes. And we still don't know what's...
Flixton. Exactly. There's not a lot. Not a lot of noise being made on either of those two fronts either, is there?
No.
I assume they're making They're doing a lot of work behind the scenes. All clubs do at this level, but we'll find out in June.
I've not approached anyone from either of those clubs. Not that I think they would be willing to come on here anyway and discuss it, because I don't think it would. I don't know. Would it help them?
I don't think it would.
No. I got the impression with Flixton they had to prove that they had a significant away following in order to justify them not playing on Parks football. But then they would have to improve on the 70 people that supported us on Saturday.
Yeah.
And I think they were taking coach loads of 50 people.
Oh.
That doesn't exactly
strike as being big.
No.
Big away.
It's not an FC United.
Is anybody in FC United?
No.
Well, no, they applied for counties in their infancy, didn't they? Yeah. And they got it.
Well, they tried it originally to get into the Northern Premier League, which they didn't. But then the argument was they couldn't play Parks football at step 7 because 3,000 people would be going to the away games. It didn't work out that way in the end. It was 1,000 plus.
Yeah.
But that is quite high, and then the logistics are a pain in the arse. Then you've got to worry about stewarding and policing and safety. So that made sense, them joining the Northwest Counties. Not that I agreed with it at the time, but I like the model that they are now. They've got their own ground. The top of the Northern Premier League West.
They're just doing everything right at the minute.
Is it West?
Yeah. No, Northern Premier.
Oh, sorry, yeah, they're one step away from the conference.
They are.
The National League North, which is excites me for them, because I think
that's stunning, that, isn't it? But they've done everything right over the past 21 years. Yeah.
In many ways, their progress is been gentle. It's been a gentle progress.
Yeah.
Not running too fast.
No, I don't think they are.
I love it, and I just wish them all the best. And obviously now got a bigger soft spot for them now that Tommy's the head scout there.
Scout there, isn't he? God bless him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So who have we got on Saturday?
We've got Halewood Apollo away in the Cup.
And it's a 2:30 kickoff if anybody wants to get along there. It's the quarterfinals of the Zingari
That's the one.
Cup.
Yes.
If you'd like to get along and support Skem and get them into the semi-finals, there's one chance of still picking up some silverware. So the season's far from over. We know we're not getting relegated.
No.
So that gives us a bit of breathing space, growing space. We've made a few more signings before the deadline, which is on Monday.
Monday, isn't it?
31st of March is the deadline.
Oh, is it? I actually didn't realise that there was a a deadline.
I didn't know whether it existed at this level, but
I didn't.
Danny being as professional as he is, it very much applies his sort of rules to the Northwest Counties. Not a bad policy to follow, to be perfectly honest.
No, definitely not.
I like his protocols. He's the best. He's the best secretary in the
world.
In the world, yeah. Listen, he's great, and the very fact that he's working remotely in Galway, in Southern Ireland,
in the Republic of Ireland, yeah.
Yes, in the Republic of Ireland, of course. Then,
what on earth is that?
I'm Irish.
No, you are not.
I'm 47% Irish.
You're about as Irish as my backside.
No, I'm 47% Irish. So my ancestry tells me.
Well, tell that to your accent.
I did a DNA. Oh, listen, I've got a very good... I can even do the Northern Irish accent if I want as well.
No, that just
sounds... It's more angry, innit?
No, it just makes you sound like that guy from Mrs. Brown's Boys.
Yeah, well, she's Irish.
Yeah.
Well, she's not Irish.
Which Irish is it?
No, don't. Anyway, listen, it doesn't really matter. Anyway, what was I talking about anyway? Yeah, listen, he's the finest secretary in the world, so say all of us.
We've told that.
So, yeah, if you can get along to that game on Saturday, you're more than welcome. There's no admission charges there. Halewood is a really nice setup. Mm-hmm. They've got their ground now, I think, fit for purpose for the Northwest Counties should they move up.
Yeah.
It's a leisure centre and a football pitch as well. There's plenty of places to get a bite to eat before the game and a cuppa.
Yeah, and there's free parking on site.
And there's plenty of parking there as well. Nice big open spaces and a really nice setup, I think.
It certainly is. Yeah.
So, yeah, listen, that rounds up the...
just rounds up the show, doesn't it?
Rounds up the show, yeah. It feels like it's been a long one.
It does feel like it's been a long one, but
well, I've got used to rambling on, you see, and that's the problem. I'm going to have to learn to... just speak about one thing and not repeat myself several times over.
Go.
But, you know, we're just trying to do the natural thing. Nothing scripted.
No, we just carry on going, and we appreciate all the support because we know that actually sometimes it is more of a chore than a joy to listen through all of our ramblings.
There is a lot of hard work that goes into it as well.
Into listening to it. Yeah, but also to actually putting it together as well. There's a lot that Frank and I do to try and make this show as decent as what it is. So
what have you learnt in the last week or so?
Honestly, just... As Skelmersdale United, we're going to stay in our lane and do what we need to do to make sure that we are the best as what we can be, regardless of noise, criticism and competition. Just stay in our lane and keep going.
Obviously, having been to Richie Wade's funeral tomorrow, I look at the landscape and I think to myself, in 145 years' time, who are going to be those people that we look upon, likes of Wally Bennett and Richie Wade, as I've mentioned? Who are we going to be looking back up in 145 years? Is that an ambitious thought to have, that we're going to be here way after we've passed?
No.
Yeah, I think there'll be more legends. I think there's probably already a legend or two
in the squad,
in the current squad.
I think we could be right.
And I think once they take us up into the, listen, the important thing was, of course, we had Alan McDermott and Andy Windsor at the game on Saturday. Well, they weren't actually at the game. They were just popping in because they were on the way to Goodison to watch Everton.
The Hill Dickinson even.
Yeah. What did I say, Goodison?
Yeah,
I keep saying Goodison. I can't. I bought tickets, by the way, for the ladies' friendly. You know, not friendly, the last qualifying round.
Yeah.
Against the Ukraine.
Yeah.
So my second cousin, she lives down in Gosport, and she's coming up to stay with us for a week. Yeah. She's Welsh.
Nice.
She's a big rugby fan.
Yeah.
But she also supports Everton as well. So she's not been to the Bramley-Moore dock. And I thought, rather than just go there and have a visit like I've had, I want to go in there and see a crowd at the same time. So £25 a ticket to go and watch them. I think it's around about the 9th of June. I'm looking forward to that.
That's not bad.
I don't know why I mentioned that.
Oh,
listen, it went off tangent, didn't I?
As we do.
Yeah, but listen, what I was basically saying was that, listen, I think there's one or two more heroes to come, but I'd like to dedicate this show to Richie Wade and his family.
Amen.
So with that, I'll leave the final words to the dulcet tones of AJ Vergette.
You've been listening to the Speaking Frankly Football Show with me, AJ Vergette, and my co-host, Mr. Frank Hughes. This podcast is available wherever you get your streaming services, including Spotify, Amazon Music, and now YouTube. Please rate and review, as we do enjoy hearing all your feedback. Please also subscribe so that you can find out firsthand when a new episode of the show has been released. We are also available on social media sites, including Facebook and X, under the banner term Speaking Frankly Football Show. And so from myself and Frank, thank you ever so much for listening to the show, and we'll see you next week for another one. Until then, bye-bye for now.